Hello, everybody. Welcome to Knights of Last Call. We're here tonight, joined, of course, by a special guest. It's none other than Mr. Bob himself. Bob, how the hell are you?
Great. I'm happy to be here and talking about sweet PF2 books.
Bob decided to hop on tonight. It's a rare ability that Bob is free here to join us. So, and maybe he's just excited because we're doing Treasure Vault and he wants to be a part of the action. So
maybe.
So tonight, as you may have seen from our live stream preview, or thumbnail, we have a preview of Treasure Vault. So this is the new book coming out next month from Paizo. And, sometimes Paizo likes us, sometimes they don't. But this is one of those.
This time they do.
This is one of those instances where they did like us. And so they went ahead and they gave us a PDF, a preview PDF copy of Treasure Vault. And they said, hey, listen, if you want to do a exclusive preview, you are welcome to do so. Just clear it with us. And we said, yeah, sure. And I know some of you may have, I'm sure a lot of you watched Nonat's stream. I know that he did alchemical items. So, we said, hey, we'll do arms and armaments, right? Nothing like some good weapons, armor, shields. And that's what we're going to be covering tonight. So
absolutely.
Yeah, and if it's your first time here, welcome. We're the Knights of Last Call. My name is Derek Melinda. This is Bob Bumbarger, and together we are 2/3 of the Knights of Last Call proper. We also have an extended group that play games with us. We talk about Pathfinder 2 on this channel, but we also talk about a lot of other games. In fact, if you look back just 2 days ago, we did a live stream about Against the Dark Master, which is a D100 roll under system that's sort of copying the D percentage systems from the 80s and sort of an updated retro clone that sort of captures the magic of Tolkien. So we do a lot of different stuff on this channel. We love talking about RPGs. We love talking about games. And we think that what we bring to the, I guess you would say to the table is a wide perspective. And from people like myself who've played many, many, many different types of games over many, many decades, to people like Bob who are relatively new to the hobby, but comes in with a wide range of other experiences, especially sports and board games and card games. So I think
it's pretty easy to determine. Derek hates Candyland and Bob loves Candyland.
Right. I think Candyland
biggest difference there between two people.
Right. Candyland should not be played to children because it teaches them that their choices don't matter and that life is predetermined and the only outcome is randomness and they have no effect on their will to shape their destiny. And it's horrible. So anyways, but we are just the tip of the iceberg of Knights of Last Call. We also represent a thriving community, which is based on our Patreon. And if you're interested in checking that out at any point tonight, link is in the description below. We'd love to have you maybe be part of our conversation, join our Discord. It's all part of our Patreon offering, along with other exclusive things like PDFs and exclusive videos and exclusive live streams and all that other fun stuff. So tonight, we're going to get into Treasure Vault. So, Bob, you kind of, I don't want to say you cheated, but you looked at some of this already.
I mean, I was interested in it.
Okay. So I have not gone through these. I've glanced through it very quickly, but I have not read through these line by line. And our goal tonight is to read through them line by line. So we're going to try to cover every single item in the next 2 hours or so. That is from Chapter 1, which is the Arms and Armaments, Armor and Armaments. So you can see here, looks like it's a 34-page chapter. We've got a couple of pages. We have some new armors. We have some new armor property runes. We have some specific magic armors. So that's pretty standard, right? We've got some non-magical armor equipment. We've got our new property runes, and then we have the specific named armor pieces. They do the same thing for shields and specific magic shields. First thing that pops out to me, Bob, there's
Rinse
no
and repeat with weapons.
There's no thing here that says shield runes, which is a little disappointing. I think myself and a lot of other people really wanted to see shield runes, but maybe that changes up the game too much. But then we see weapons. That's new types of weapons, weapon runes, and then lastly we finish with some specific magic weapons. Looks like there's only 2 pages maybe of weapon runes, so that is it's a very short amount. You don't have to keep muting yourself, Bob.
Oh, when I type, I did.
Oh, I thought you weren't going to type, Bob.
People were shouting out, Bob's here, so I got to throw it, hey, what's up?
Well, you have a microphone that lets you do that, Bob.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to interrupt your magnificent speech.
Okay. So here we have, of course, now, Bob, this is a test for you. Can you name these 3 iconics?
Oh, the ones right here in the...
Yeah.
Image.
Yeah.
Is it Fumbus?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, because I have his dice and his comic book.
Then you would be better equipped than most to know who this is. All right. Who's
Yes, I don't know the rest of them though.
All right.
Is that some of the is that the bar drinker guy in the top?
Well, no, that's the fighter.
Caden? No.
Oh, that's a god, Bob.
Oh, sorry. I get my gods confused. Then no, I do not know.
All right. Well,
I don't really follow the Iconics.
I got you. Well, that is Valoros the fighter and Sela the champion. All right. So, armor and armaments. So, we've got a little bit of an introduction here, where we kind of go over just the basics of it. Let's see if there's anything here of particular note or interest. Let's see. I'm going to shrink down our thing a little bit, Bob, so that we have a little bit more room.
Okay.
This is a overlay thing. I want to make sure people can see as much as possible. I mean, I know we're very pretty people, but, just want to make sure that people can read. All right. All right. We've got new armor, new weapons, specific things, real-world cultural armaments to wild fantastical armor. It looks like it's pretty normal here. Nothing specific.
So I guess, do you know, Derek, I don't know how much you've looked into this, what this place is?
What do you mean? Oh, the treasure vault?
Yes.
Well, it looks to me like the entire book is sort of, what's the word I want to say? It's sort of...
It's a dungeon.
It's framed as like a dragon's vault, right?
Yeah. It's this Falashanaz, the mistress of the vault. She's a underworld dragon who looks super sweet. And she's got this little funny, cute kobold that like cleans her armor.
Of course.
But there's like, but hey, I read the little stuff and it seemed kind of funny. There's some quirky stuff, but it's basically this giant dungeon of like rooms of treasure. I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, after I was reading this, I'm like, give me that dungeon. Like, let me like run through that. There's like 100 rooms.
You don't want to go through the dungeon. You don't want to explore it.
Yeah.
I think it's, I mean, here's the thing. I will give Paizo a props for that because a lot of times these books can be very dry, right? Like magic, if you go back to like Ultimate Equipment or Magic Item Compendium or Encyclopedia Magica or Adventurer's Vault or whatever, it is a pretty dry book because it's just a list of magic items. So, I appreciate that they're at least trying to put a little bit of flair in there, a little bit of a pizzazz into it. So
I found it amusing.
I'm sure you did, Bob.
But I'm easily amused.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into it here. All right, armor. We've got new armor. We've got leather armor, chainmail, and full plate. They are the mainstays amongst soldiers and adventurers. But sometimes armor is more specialized. All right, so we got a couple of new traits. So some of the armor in this uses the new traits. Now, some of these traits I think we've seen before, maybe in other books, but this is sort of reminding us for that. So we've got adjusted. So this equipment comes with an adjustment in its entry. The adjustment is built into the equipment permanently, meaning the equipment cannot be have another adjustment added, nor can it be swapped out for a different adjustment. So basically, you get an adjustment is like an add-on to an armor. It's like a slot. You can only do it once, and then once you've done that, it's done.
Yep.
Aqua Dynamics doesn't apply the armor checks penalty to acrobatics or athletics checks in water, but that shouldn't be mostly an issue because if your strength meets the requirements, and most of the time you're not going to wear an armor unless your strength meets the requirements, you already ignore the armor check penalty to acrobatics and athletics checks. So that trait doesn't do a whole lot. So Entrench, this is actually something I did read. So the way I understand it is some of the armor in this, is sort of like siege armor, and you can basically like lock it into place like a Roman formation doing one of those
hold the line.
Yeah, hold the line. And so it is basically armor that lets you kind of raise a shield, right? It says if you're trained in this armor, you can spend a single action to get a +1 circumstance bonus, but it's only against a certain type of attack. All right? And it's usually either melee or it's ranged. Oh, Bob, what's Bob drinking?
Oh, yeah. This is part of what you do, guys, is you buy the advent calendar of beers like a week after it comes out. and you get it on sale. And then I got a whole case of beer.
Only Bob
for a bunch of different varieties.
Only you would be drinking Christmas Advent beer in the middle of January. So anyway, so this is interesting. We'll see how well this actually plays out with the different armor types, but it's fundamentally an interesting idea. Hindering is our next trait, and this is a bad trait. This armor is so bulky, you get a -5 penalty to all speeds, and this is separate from our normal speed penalty. So we're used to thinking of medium armor, if you meet the strength benefit, as being essentially -0 speed, and heavy armor being -10. But of course, if you meet the strength benefit, you only get a -5 benefit. This is a -5 on top of that. So I'm assuming that if you had a heavy armor that was hindering, even if you had the strength required for the armor, you would still have a -10 foot speed penalty. And depends.
That's my interpretation as well.
That could be a lot if you're playing in something like Knights of Last Call adventure where
2x map
where I double the dimensions of all maps and suddenly you have 150 foot wide maps. But if you're playing in a very small, tight, cramped sort of traditional sort of piezo adventure paths, I mean, I think that could be not that big of an issue. Inscribed, it is treated with magical symbols using the same method as crafting a scroll. Inscribed attire can hold 1 scroll into it, and you need a free hand to activate it, but you do not have to interact to draw it. I mean, that's kind of cool for just having it on your armor. Laminar is next. This is made of layered sections, so if it breaks, your armor only gets -1 penalty. Instead of what you normally would get. But I don't think in my entire time of playing,
we don't really play that way.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever really had armor break in 3 years of playing PF2. And lastly, ponderous. The armor has moving parts or other complications that lengthen your initial reaction time. While you're wearing this armor, you take a -1 penalty to initiative checks. If you do not meet the armor's required strength score, it is the armor's checks penalties or whichever is worse. So we got 2 traits here that are kind of right. They're trying to cost balance these things by making it go into it. So, and then we have armor specialization. Just 1 new armor specialization. This is if you're specialized in the armor.
That's not true.
Oh no, there's more.
It's there's way underneath the table.
Oh, okay. Is this where you're going to complain about the design?
No, I got a different comment.
Okay. So Akamos asks, are there effects in the CRB that break armor? Akamos, the only one that I could think of is a critical hit from an acid rune. A critical hit from an acid rune deals damage to their armor. That's the only one I know of, offhand. And Raphael says the Sentinel archetypes and the Champion has feats for taking damage with their armor. So there you go. Okay.
That's pretty cool.
That is cool. All right, so we've got, if you have skeletal armor, this is in addition to our usual chain and plate. You're made from bone and exoskeletons. It could even be made from coral. You get resistance.
You laugh now. Wait till you see it.
You get resistance to precision damage equal to 3 plus the armor's potency rune for medium, 5 plus the value of the armor potency rune for heavy armor. Precision damage, that's your traditional sneak attack. That's not bad. I mean,
no, I think it's pretty cool.
I mean, +3 armor would give you 8 resistance to pierce precision damage, all precision damage. I think that's actually more useful than some of the other existing armor specialization attacks. A
lot of this is like kind of going to go into this almost like the BZB did with like crafting. So you're going to go kill a insect and then craft it for the armor.
Sure.
That you're going to do.
So we're going to come back to this table here in a second, folks, but I just want to finish this up here just so we have it here. And our other new type of armor is wood. It is light and flexible, but it can splinter, throwing off shards and fragments as you are attacked. A foe critically hits you with a melee unarmed attack, or critically hits you with any melee attack if they're adjacent to you. Then they take piercing damage equal to 3 plus the armor's rune, or for medium, or 5 plus the armor's rune for heavy. So if you get crit, you do a trivial amount of damage.
I feel like they missed opportunity to be like set on fire. No. Like you should be like vulnerable to fire if you have wood armor.
No, why would we ever wear that? I mean, the thing of hopefully the wood. I mean, this is a nice little bonus, but hopefully we see some armor that druids can wear. That's what we're really looking for here, because druids, of course, cannot wear metal armor. All right, so here we go. Let's get into it. So these are all of our common armor in our first 2 tables, table 1.1 and 1.2. So we've got the gi. And we have the scroll robes. So the scroll robes, these are basically just normal robes, but the scroll robes have the inscribed trait, which lets you put one scroll onto them. And I mean, look, if you're going to be wearing crappy armor that isn't armor anyways, I mean, why not throw a scroll on there for free and not have to pull it out? Did we miss comfort, or is that described somewhere else? It must be in a different book.
I think it's in a different book.
Okay. So, yeah, all right. I don't know what comfort is. Do you?
I do not, and I don't think it's mentioned.
Comfort trait, Arcos and Ethos. You can rest while wearing it, Bob.
Oh, it's my favorite. That's my favorite ability.
That's right. Okay.
Can I have comfort and my my wooden breastplate?
There you go. So anyways, both of these are pretty normal, pretty simple. All right, so we go into our light armor. We, of course, see AC bonuses ranging from 1 to 2, max dex going to 3, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. So nothing out of the sorts there. All -1. All of the strengths 12 or 10. No speed penalty, bulk 1. We've got 2 light armors that are wood. We've got 1 that's composite, and we've got some other stuff here. So what do we see here? The buckle armor has adjusted storage, but it is noisy. The other 3 types are this new type, that laminar type, which, oh no, that's not new. That's from the book as well. From the
No, it's from this.
Oh, it is. I'm sorry. This is it doesn't break as much.
It's basically a laminated
it's a bunch of layered sections. I personally don't feel like this is that big of a deal. I don't think your armor should be breaking that often. But if for some odd reason it does, here you go. You got laminar. And then quilted armor, Bob, is light armor that you can sleep in. I'm curious. We'll have to read about this adjusted storage down in the buckle armor. Hey, there's Caverns and Cave Trolls. Welcome. Thank you for the tip.
Caverns and Cave Trolls tipped $9.11. Dang it, I'm late.
Thank you so much for the tip. Appreciate you. Thank you. We also got something else. I don't know what this is.
Cybersmith.
Oh, Cybersmith. Hey, Cybersmith. Yep. Oh, what have I missed? Finally, wooden armor. Cybersmith, we just got started. This is the first table of the armor. We're just going over it and talking about it. So, but it does, yes, there is a new group of armor, which is called wood. And more importantly, by the way, we'll cut right to it because we're beating around the bush here. We have wooden breastplate. So this is medium armor with the wood trait. Yep. And so we've got +3 armor, +2 dex. It's a -2, but the strength requirement is only 14, which is very, very easy for your people to meet. That's just druids have needed this for a while. There was never really a good option for them before, and so that's nice that they can do that. I'd also, by the way, probably point out that druids can wear this skeletal armor, right? That's not. There's no reason why they couldn't wear like bones or bug carapaces or something like that. So now let's take a look here. Someone did point something out in chat, which Icamos did. It says quilted armor is only 2/2, and it gives you comfort. So I'm going to assume that has to be a mistake. There's no way that the armor, that comfort is worth so much that it's minimized on the dex, right? There's no way. There's absolutely no way that could be the case.
Quilted armor is built of a long coat intended for defensive use without other armor.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. All right.
It's supposed to be stylish.
Yeah, it's not going to get ever worn by any player ever. How about that? It's not that great. So anyways, let's see here. People say it's cheap. It's 3 gold. Leather lamellar armor, which is composite laminar, requires lower strength as a better. I mean, it's 1/4 instead of 2/3, but still, it's pretty crazy. So Damien is saying that all cloth armors have that weaker armor drawback. Yeah, but is that true? I mean, Explorer's clothing is 0 AC, 5 dex. And it's got the comfort, and it's got the cloth. It's just 0.5 like everything else. Anyways, it's not like it's 0.4 or something. All right. Well, we've got medium armor. We've got ceramic plate, which has latches. Which
I think just in general, a ceramic plate armor like just cracks me up.
Because it would shatter instantly?
Yeah, I just think it would just break. It's a bunch of dishes.
So everything here adds to 5. The armor check penalty is all -2. Everything here is pretty much what we'd expect it to be. The couple of things that stand out to me are you've got this another thing with this adjusted, which we'll get into here in a second. We've got this lamellar breastplate, which this is important. This has got that hindering trait. And remember, hindering means you move an extra -5 foot slower. So even if you had the 16 strength for this breastplate, you would be moving at a slower speed. That's pretty rough. For the benefit of laminar, which is if it gets damaged, the break penalty is less. And again, if your armor is getting broke all the time, I mean, that's, totally reasonable. All right, what do we get from Cyber? Being armored in your sleep is worth it. Nobody wants to get dressed during a night raid. Also, in real life, body armor uses ceramics. They use modern day ceramics there, composite material.
But the first point is correct. I always want to sleep in my armor.
In fact, when we were playing Pathfinder 1, I remember Bob had like a heart attack when we told him that he couldn't sleep in his armor because he would be,
He said I'd wake up fatigued or something
like that. Yeah. And we were like, what? No, like the idea that.
And then we got raided in the middle of the night.
And then you got raided in the middle of the night. It was pretty great. Again, I was pretty impressed with this skeletal group because the armor specialization of this gave you resistance from precision.
Yeah.
Thin Wizzy. I didn't see the hindering trait. So let's go back up to the hindering trait. It is it's not a good trait. You take a -5 penalty to all your speeds to a minimum of 5 foot speed. This is separate from and in addition to your armor speed penalty. And even if your strength or an ability lets you reduce or ignore the armor speed penalty. So you are getting this -5 no matter what. And then again, Aqua Dynamic, it ignores the armor check penalty if you're in water, but you would ignore the armor check penalty if you had strength 14 here either, so I don't think it's doing a whole lot, although it does have the skeletal trait, I guess. Lattice armor. What's going on with lattice armor? Is it just like a 4-1 that is chain? Mm-hmm. Yeah, nothing special there. All right. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Niahat. All right, heavy armor. So here's the big boys. We've got, these are all level 2 items. We've got Bastion Plate and Fortress Plate. And these are basically two sides of the same coin. They're both 6-0 heavy armor, -10 speed, of course, and they require 18 strength. So these are basically full plate. The problem here, and they're plate group, the issue is both of them have Bulwark, which we know is great, give you that +3 bonus instead of your dex. But they're both, the Bastion Plate is hindering, which means you're going to move at a -5 speed on top of the -10 speed. So you're moving at a -15 foot speed. And then the Fortress Plate is ponderous, which is your -1 to your initiative.
Yep.
Now, I personally would rather have the -1 to my initiative, I think, than the -5 speed.
That's because initiative doesn't really matter.
Well, it matters sometimes.
You can move around.
Hey, everybody. It's Steven from Roll for Combat.
Yeah, it's RFC in the chat.
RFC in the chat. All right. So what is Entrench? All right. Well, we covered this at the beginning, but Entrench is basically raising a shield, but with your armor. All right.
Yep.
So you can set up the Bastion Plate for one action. It'll last until your next turn, just like raising a shield. And it's going to give you a +1, not 2. It's like a light shield. A +1 circumstance bonus to your AC against that type of attack. So if you raise, if you entrench with the Bastion Plate, you're going to get a +1 circumstance bonus to your armor class against melee. And if you raise or entrench your Fortress Plate, you're going to get a +1 circumstance bonus from against ranged attacks. I think the idea of it is cool. I just think that's an expensive action to take. Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, obviously the idea here is you're dual wielding, or you've got a 2-handed weapon, a pole arm, a big sword, and now you have something that you can do to, raise your AC a little bit. And then the last heavy armor we have is the Oyorai, and that has the laminar. So that to me is probably more like a feudal Japan armor, and it's kind of made of laminated laminations.
There's a picture on the next page of it. It looks
right.
pretty sweet.
Okay. And then we'll go to the uncommon here in a second, but let's take a look at the art. Let's see what I think. Bob, real quick. Buckle armor.
What's your least favorite one? Coral armor.
All right, wait. Yeah, Bob, what's your favorite here?
I like the Hell Knight half plate.
You like the Hell Knight half plate.
In terms of art.
We did cover it yet. Those are from the uncommons.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Of the common ones?
Yeah.
I don't know, the Oreo.
The Odorai?
Oyorai.
Yeah.
I mean, that just has a, we're going to be playing L5R soon. It's
That's true.
Japanese inspired.
Yoroi? I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Yeah. Well, I
mean, my favorite here is I think the Bastion plate looks cool. I do like that. It looks like, with the big pauldrons. The lattice armor is not so bad. Coral armor is the worst.
When I saw the coral armor, when I was looking at it, I was like, he's going to not like this one. Looks like he's kind of like on fire.
All right. We've got several people in chat, including Ryan. Yoroi.
So it's Oyoroi?
Oyoroi.
Sweet.
All right. That's a tongue twister.
Yeah.
So I got to admit, it's a little edgelordy, but the buckle armor kind of looks cool, right? Like I could see like Chris Angel wearing this, but I think it looks cool. All right, so let's talk about this buckle armor because there were two armors that I did want to talk about. The ceramic plate had adjusted armor latches, and the buckle armor had adjusted storage, and they both had the noisy trait, which, by the way, remember means that even if you do have the strength requirement, you still take that check penalty to stealth checks. That's what noisy does. But
keep going.
Buckle armor coming. What? Where am I coming? Keep going. What do you mean?
Oh, I thought you were looking for the storage stuff.
No, I'm reading. I'm reading here. Absalon Style once led famous adventurers to wear clothing with an unusual number of buckles, pouches, and straps. This fashion birthed the trend to lead to buckle armor, a colloquial name for chic armor with spacious tool storage. This comes with the storage armor adjustment, which is on page 11.
Which is the next page. That's what I was getting at.
Okay.
Like, that's where the rules are right there.
Okay, here we go. So this is an adjustment. Remember we talked about this before, adjustment. You can add to something, and you can only add to it once. And then once you add to it, the armor becomes adjusted. And once an armor is adjusted, you can't adjust it anymore. Mace Man, I'm late. Did I miss the tattoos? Does tattoo artist fully function now? 2 level 2 common tattoos. Mace Man, unfortunately, we will not be covering tattoos today. We are covering armor and armaments. However, I will say, as we go through the table of contents, that there is a 6-page section on magical tattoos. There's also a 6-page section on spell hearts. We've got some new Apex items. We've got a couple of new assistive items. We've got a couple of new grimoires. There's not that many new held items. There's not even that many new worn items, but they did add in some tattoos, some spell hearts, some grimoires, some stuff that was definitely missing, I would say, from earlier addition to the book. Oh yeah, they put in some more catalysts, fulus, kind of a lot of just a mix of everything here and there.
There's 100 rooms in this dungeon. They got to fill it up with armor.
Exactly. So Anthony
and stuff.
Now, all these people coming in late. Anthony says, is there any armor that's suitable for wizards? Why, yes, Anthony, there is. There is.
It's funny, you should mention that.
It's hilarious. Anthony, it's crazy that you would even bring that up. Anthony, there is we don't get a picture of that one, huh?
No, there's one later about a magical robe that does it. But.
Got it. Anthony, there is a new robe, it counts as unarmored, but it is called the scroll robes. And, you can inscribe a one scroll onto the robe. And so basically it's like you have one scroll on your armor ready to go. And then you can cast the scroll, and then like whenever you have a chance to make scrolls again, you can add it back onto your armor. So you can always just have one scroll on your armor. You don't have to pull it out or anything like that. So it's kind of, it's not like the be all end all most powerful thing of all time, but it's pretty okay. All right.
I mean, if you're not going to wear armor.
Yeah. So okay, we got distracted here. Storage. You get all these belts and buckles. While wearing this armor with its adjustment, you can wear up to 3 bulk of tools instead of 2.
Get that flick mace.
It's not a tool, Bob.
And I know.
Let's see here. First thing Cork says, the first thing I hear when I turn on the stream, armor is the worst. See, that's so selective. Like we haven't even, I've said most of this is actually pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
That's just really funny. And then apparently Steven is saying that nobody in any of his games even wears armor or uses weapons. What kind of a game are you running? Oh, they're monks and spellcasters. Got it. Okay. That makes sense.
Hey, they got some monk stuff in here they could use.
Yeah. And then we also know that the other armor, is it the ceramic plate? No. Yeah, ceramic plate has adjusted armor latches. And I'm going to assume this lets you take it off easier. This armor is easily doffed, or put it on. A set of armor with armor latches gains the noisy trait, and you can't add latches to an armor that already has noisy trait. You can remove a set of armor with armor latches with a 3-action activity. But this doesn't affect the time it takes to don the armor. So you can take it off quick, but you can't put it on quick, which, to be fair, I would prefer if those things were reversed.
Oh, of course.
I'd rather be able to put the armor on than take the armor off.
And just sleep in it, then you don't have to worry.
All right, let's do our uncommon armor.
Yes.
We've got the Mantis Shell, which is a light armor, 2/3, 12 strength. It's skeletal again. Remember, skeletal armor group, if you have the specialization, is going to give you some resistance to precision damage, like sneak attack and stuff. And it has the adjusted trait already built into it, which is Weapon Harness. And Weapon Harness has a lot here.
This is kind of an interesting ability, actually. It's kind of weird.
It has short, flexible harnesses meant to connect weapons to each of its vambraces. They can be connected to a melee weapon of light bulk or less. It takes an interact action to remove or attach. Something can't remove it unless you're willing to let them do so. You get a +1 circumstance bonus to your reflex DC against attempts to disarm you of a weapon connected to the armor, and if it would be knocked from your grasp or you would drop it, it instead dangles from your braces, by your bracer from a harness. So this is basically, 3rd edition had something like this. It was called weapon cords or something like that. Weapon chain. That was what it was called in 3rd edition, or Pathfinder 1. I mean, it was definitely in 3rd edition, but it was called weapon chain, and it was like the idea of like a key chain, like when people wear the chain on their keys, they've got the chain that connects it to their belt. And
same weapon cords.
Yeah, weapon cords. So basically,
I think you still have to pick an action to get it back.
You can regain control of the weapon in the normal time it takes to draw it.
So what does it do? Because if my weapon drops at my feet, then I can just pick it up.
Yes, but in theory, there is a distinctive between time when the weapon is out of your grasp, but before you get to go and pick it up.
Okay.
So someone could theoretically disarm you and then theoretically pick it up.
Yeah, there's a lot of disarm stuff, I think, in this book.
This is I mean, to be fair, to be clear, it's pretty not great. But
it sounds cool.
Sure. All right, so then we get another armor. It's a medium armor, and it's plate, and it's Hell Knight breastplate. So if you're a Hell Knight, you can get into armor, plate armor even earlier. So it's a 4/1, and it's 16 strength instead of 18, and yeah. And then we have Hell Knight half plate, which is 5/1 at 16 strength, and then we have the full Hell Knight plate, which is 6/0. 18 strength, bulk 4, yada, yada, yada.
That's awesome.
I don't get where... I don't get why that's uncommon.
I think you should have to be Hell Knight.
Okay, so mechanically, it doesn't really do anything for you, right?
It's technically a step better than the Oyorori.
Well, I'm just saying, full plate is AC 6, Dex 0, check -3, speed penalty -10, strength 18, bulk 4, group plate, traits bulwark.
So the same thing.
So it's literally the same thing, except this cost. Oh, and it's level 2. Except normal plate costs 30. This costs 35.
You just look real sweet.
All right, you look really sweet. All right, you're willing to pay 5 extra gold to look real sweet. All right, you got it. You look really awesome. Yes, they were designed specific to their order. Apparently, that costs 5 gold. I just don't. Why does that even need to be in the rules, right? Like, it's not really a new armor. You could just, Anyways, all right. All right, so we've got a couple interesting armor choices. Some of them I think are a little bit, probably too too specific. This laminar is very interesting if your armor's getting broken all the time. I haven't seen it happen in 3 years of playing, but maybe I'm just not using the right monsters. But the hindering is a real big deal. I'm not gonna lie. Like moving an extra -5 foot speed, that's a big deal. I mean, people will go jump over fences to get plus 5 foot speed, and this is minus 5 foot speed. So that's quite a big cost. All right, so that's our new armors. And then, like we said before, you have these adjustments. You can buy these. You can apply them to whatever armor it says. Like, for example, storage can go to armor or unarmored defense. Armor latches can be applied to any armor. And then once you put it onto a book, once you put it onto armor, it is adjusted. You can't change it again. Those are the only 3 armor adjustments that we get. All right.
Yep.
All right, so we're on to the runes.
Yes.
All right, we all know how armor property runes work. You get 1 per point of potency. So 1 at 1, 2 at 2, 3 at 3. And here we go. All right, step up. Number 1, advancing. It's a rune.
Sold.
Sold? All right.
It's good. It's great.
You say it's good? Okay. We got
it's kind of my thing.
Okay, so advancing is a rune at 9, and we also have a greater advancing rune at 16. Charges up as you defeat foes, driving you forward across the battlefield with every victory. All right, so first thing I see is a free action. I always like free actions. Requirement, your last action or activity reduced an enemy's 0 hit points. So you killed somebody. Then you can stride, but only 15 feet, which is not a lot, but it's okay. This movement doesn't trigger reactions. That's nice. And I like that they include the text here that say you don't just have to walk. You can burrow, you can climb, you can fly, or you can swim instead. And then at 16th level, you get to move your full speed, whatever that may be, in land or sea or air.
I love it.
I think it's great.
I mean, obviously it's not cleave that we like to play with, but man, to be able to kill and then move is super fun.
Here's the thing. If you are doing this at least twice a fight, and you're getting 2 free strides of fight, then you're getting an incredible amount of value out of this rune. If you're not landing killing blows, if you're not the one that's killing the then you're not obviously gonna. You know what I'm saying is the rune's value is variable depending on how much you're the one last. You basically have to last hit if you've ever played like a MOBA. Yeah. You have to be the one last hitting, but. I mean, the fact is, there's not even it doesn't even take your reaction.
It's super sweet.
That's actually sweet. So
I like not triggering the reactions, being able to free move. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah. So this is great. I like it. All right. Next one, rune 6, level 6. Aim aiding goes on any armor. Oh, by the way, I should note that this advancing can only go on to heavy armor. It's interesting. So not putting it on your lightly armored people, by the way. Aim aiding. So this is on any armor. You do not provide enemies cover against your allies' ranged attacks. So that means ally armor is always light cover, which is plus 1 AC. So obviously this is a very specific rune, right? If you have a party with a lot of ranged attacks and you are the only like melee combatant, then maybe you take this. Right? Bob? Stop reading chat.
Yeah. Sorry. I was reading the duo sniping because that's actually something I looked into.
You're getting distracted and bored on our own stream.
That's not bored, first of all. But aim aiding isn't as cool as advancing.
Okay. Aim aiding, I mean, it's pretty limited. I mean, I will admit. Because, again, you need the people to be attacking and, they need to be having a lot of range attacks for this to make sense.
That's fine.
All right. Assisting is our next one. So this armor provides support for your joints or advanced prostheses for missing limbs, holding your body in place, easing physical symptoms. This replicates the benefits of splint supports and processes from the Grand Bazaar. When you invest the armor, you determine how many supports you want. In addition, extra support and armor provided by you would allow you to be transport more than you would normally be able to. You can carry bulk equal to 6 plus your strength instead of 11 plus your strength. So this is basically a magical version of a lot of the stuff that we saw in Grand Bazaar to help with people who might be missing limbs or have mobility issues. It's sort of a magical version of that. I think that's great. And then, as a little mechanical benefit on top of it, because the armor is designed to sort of support you and assist you, you can carry more weight. So not a lot to talk about here, but obviously it's a nice inclusion, and it's a cool that they give you a magical way. In fact, I like the magical way of dealing with that better than I think I do the other way. So that's pretty great. All right, energy adaptive. Now this is one I did.
Oh, this one's super good.
This is one I read, and I was disappointed, Bob.
Anthony
So,
Peterson,
Oh, I love this
$3.
one.
Thanks for the treasure vault.
all right, we got it.
Maybe
Soup tip from
I'm
Anthony.
mistaken.
Anticipated PF2 ebook since Secrets of Magic. Can't wait to try it out in my campaign.
All right, great. Thank you for the tip, Anthony. Excited for you to try it out in your campaign as well. Thank you so much for the tip. Okay, so energy adaptive is rune 13. It is a complex pattern of symbols. It is a reaction to activate. It's once per hour, which is better than once per day. Not as good as once every 10 minutes. All right, you take acid, cold, electricity, or fire damage, and then you would spend your reaction, and you gain resistance 5 to that triggering damage type. This doesn't apply to the damage that you were triggered against. This resistance.
I see.
This now here's what is nice. The resistance lasts until you activate this rune again. I don't think I read that the first time.
That's the part I did like, but I actually misread the part where it doesn't apply to the triggering
Yes,
damage, so you actually still get hurt first.
You get hurt
Okay.
first, but I didn't
Okay.
realize that the resistance lasted until you activate the rune again, which could
And you
be
could change it.
or until you, which no, it could be all day.
Yeah. Well, oh yeah, because you could frequency once per hour. You can't
Right.
do this again.
Well, no,
at
but
least
meaning it lasts until you
Yeah.
activate the rune again. If you don't
Yep.
activate the rune for 23 hours or 75 hours or whatever, then it's resistant. I mean, it says until you invest by you. Technically, I think you lose your investment. You have to reinvest in the morning. But I mean,
for the rest of the day, like you said.
obviously, if you're fighting, like if you go into the volcano world and you're fighting, a bunch of fire elementals, you get hit for fire damage. You take the full amount of damage, then you react. Now you've got 5 fire resistance, and you can keep
All right.
that up.
So, question: You
Yeah.
know you're going in the volcano.
Yeah.
Take your match, burn yourself, trigger the reaction. Now you got resistance 5.
I mean,
I guess at that point, why not just get the fire resistance ring? The ring of fire resistance.
So I kind of agree with Andrew here. This feels great for when you're fighting one enemy type for the day, but I'm not sure you'd take it instead of regular energy resistance. I mean, here's the thing. It is nice.
Especially with that, you have to get damage first. That part really kind of.
I mean, obviously, it's
Yeah, I don't know.
it's very versatile. It's 4 different types of energy, and you can change it every hour if you need to. So there is a.
And if you already have like a ton of stuff invested, like you can't really get every type of ring.
Right. I mean, I'm a big fan of rings and
I know
energy
you go
resistance
crazy
rings.
on them.
Well, I like to get all 4. I don't want to have anything there. But like ultimately, I feel like this is a little underpowered, but interesting.
Just a tad.
I like the design of it. I wish it was like, I don't know, resist 10 or something. I mean, or applied to the triggering damage or something. But I like Anonymous here too. I think having it work against poison and negative would be nice too. If it was like,
Oh, that's true. That'd be kinda cool.
If it adapted to all energy. So I think it's interesting. Again, I like the design of this. The frequency feels good. I like that it lasts until you activate it again. It's just not getting it good against. Resist 10, but wealth beyond measure. If it was, I took the full damage, now I have resist 10 to all subsequent damage, like that would be pretty sweet. I mean, what level do you get resist 10 at? I think it's like 12 or something. 5 at 13 is a little low. That's all I'm going to say. All right.
Now that you mention it, again, that taking the initial damage, I thought it was like sort of reactionary, and you sort of prevented it, but
No. It's like
Kinda,
it's like
whatever.
it's like
Yeah.
you know that guy from the new X-Men movies, the guy who can adapt. He was
Yeah.
from the First Class movie, right? And he gets hit, and then he can. I think
Darwin.
Darwin. Yeah. He's like him.
I
He
like my X-Men.
he gets hit, and then you require a little bit of time to
They
adapt
killed him.
to future. I know that was so stupid. All right.
He's so powerful in real life. He's a
I was like, you are not about to say real life. I thought that was a fantastic movie. I'm just gonna say, like, that was incredible.
First Class was great.
Yeah, First Class was incredible.
What's the guy that plays Magneto's name?
Michael Fassbender.
Like one of the best actors. He is so good.
I would watch a movie of just Magneto going around killing Nazis. Like, that would have been.
Oh my god,
an
he'd be
incredible
so,
movie.
and especially with him. Anyway, continue.
My comic book hero is so powerful in real life. Like, thank you. I'm glad that Steven recognized how ridiculous that statement was. And apparently, First Class is on the TV right now. That's great.
Oh wow.
So Anonymous, by the way, thank you for the subscription, but also pointing out that resist 10 armor runes are level 12. So
There you go.
You'll have +2 armor by this point, I think. And so like you could easily have 10 resist to like 2 of the most common types, like fire and cold, or fire and electricity are 2 great types to pick up. But yeah, anyways, I mean, 5 is a little underpowered, but you get some versatility, yada, yada. Anyways, gliding. Got to go any armor. and it allows you to make a controlled descent for 1 action. You glide slowly towards the ground, 5 feet down, 25 feet forward. Provided you spend at least 1 action gliding on your turn and you haven't reached the ground yet, you remain in the air. So it's like flying, but only down.
Yeah. It's gliding, exactly what it sounds like.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's a rune 8. Fly is a level 4 spell, so you get it at 7. Yeah.
Following with style. That's so good. That's so good. That's so true. Everyone's saying it. It's so good.
That is crazy that 3 people just said falling.
Yes.
That we had 3 different people say
A
falling
lot of Toy
with
Story
style.
fans in here.
Falling with style. I don't know. I mean, I get that you don't have flight like as a ability or something at this level of the game yet. But you know, it's a little. I'm struggling to imagine. I mean, yes, I can imagine a few situations, but like a generic use where I would use this, I don't think I would really have a ton of uses for this. Some ancestries even get this at level 1, so that's reasonable. Okay. Immovable is uncommon. It can go into any armor, and your armor becomes like an immovable rod. You can activate it once a day, and your armor anchors you in place, defying gravity. Defying gravity, Bob.
Don't get me started.
Okay.
Adina.
Okay. I thought I was waiting for you to bust into song. Rendering you
Couple
immobile.
more beers.
All right, rendering you immobilized until you dismiss the activation. When you're immobilized in this way, you can only be moved if a creature succeeds at a DC 40 athletics check to force open your armor. You can also be moved if 8,000 pounds of pressure are placed upon you, though this is likely fatal.
I don't know where those things come from, but I love the flavor on that. I love it.
I don't know where this came from. Or
This is fantastic.
Or who wrote this in the book?
Was this Mark?
Was this Mark? If it was Mark, well done, Mark. That is fantastic. I mean, look, you know what this armor is? Wacky fun. That's all I'm going to say, and I love it. Like, this to me is quintessential D&D stuff. Wait, why have an immovable rod if you can have immovable armor? Stephen, we are asking if Mark designed the immovable armor rune. If he designed immovable as an armor rune.
I hope he did.
Yeah, again.
I like it.
You know, it's once a day, but honestly, I wouldn't want to have this more than once a day. Like, this is just a fun thing. I'm just imagining a scenario where, like, you're you're Hodor holding the door, and you're just like, activate my armor. And like, you know, you literally become locked in place, right? Like, you know, yeah, you shall not pass. Anyway, that's fun.
I mean, I was thinking even crazier stuff, like when you do those gravity spells, and you're like, nope, I'm staying on the ground.
Right. The gravity gets shifted, and you're like, nope, I'm going to activate it. I wish the action was a reaction. That would be cool. Like, imagine like you got like flung and like you activated as a reaction and you just like, boom, stopped in midair.
That'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. I actually think that would really awesome.
I just like that pressure would most likely kill you. Like, it just seems so funny.
No, not that it will kill you, just that it's likely to kill you. So that's fun.
Depends on what level you are.
By the way, generally speaking, I am noticing that most of these runes are fair. I mean, we got a 9, 16, 13, 12. I mean, these feel like they're more kind of high level. They're all over the place, I guess. We got some 6s in here. All right. Magnetizing is our next one. It has to go into metal armor only. It makes our armor magnetic ever so slightly. Okay. We can amplify the magnetic power to keep another creature from getting away from us. It's an activation energy, one action, activate once per hour. Okay. The requirement is a creature is adjacent to us, has to be made of metal or wearing metal armor. Okay. The first,
you can see where this is going.
We become magnetic. If you or the target, if us or our target attempt to move away from each other, treat it as difficult terrain. Come on.
I like that. I thought that was pretty good.
This doesn't affect movement that keeps you the same distance from another. So you could still step as long as you remained adjacent to the target. Okay, so it's only difficult terrain if you move away. This effect ends once either one of you is no longer adjacent to each other at the end of an action. So it's only difficult terrain for one stride.
Yeah.
Come on. It should be at least greater difficult terrain or something. Like, and you're using an action for this. Like, if it was a reaction, like if somebody with metal tried to move away from us and we reacted and now they had to move at half speed or they had to move whatever, like that would be cool.
Or bring this rune down a few levels. Rune 10 seems like I have other things to do at 10.
Because they can't step away from you. That would be correct, because you can't step through difficult terrain unless they had the ability to step through difficult terrain. I mean, it's up to your GM if that would apply. Normally, when people have an ability that lets them step through difficult terrain, it's because they're like really nimble and really dodgy. But somehow, technically, that would work against the power of electromagnetism. But it is an action, and if it's an action, I want it to be a stronger effect. If it's this, I want it to be a reaction. So. That's what I'll say.
I mean, I like the idea in theory.
Idea. Oh, I love the idea in theory. I love the idea. No, again, this is classic D&D shenanigans. Look, if it was up to me, you could turn on your magnet and everybody around you would just go shunk and just get sucked to you. Like that would be so.
That'd be so cool.
Well, there's no stepping away from the fighter once per hour if they're wearing metal and they're already adjacent to you and you spend an action. Gabriel, let's get it correct here. All right, misleading, very expensive rune. DC 6 level 16, and it has to go into light armor only. So this is our Rogie McRogue rune. For starters, if you're concealed through any other normal means, the DC to flat check you to hit you is 6 instead of 5. I mean, I that is something.
5%. Math is tight. Math is tight in the chat.
It is an extra 5%. In the chat, there we go. The math is indeed very tight. Indeed. But it does give you something which you can use once a day, which lets you mislead. And mislead is the spell that lets you teleport and leave behind a illusionary double of yourself. And for a level 16 rune, I think we could do better than that.
I agree.
We got another super chat here. Just iron, nickel, cobalt, and oh god, cyber, please.
Yeah. I was like so in the weeds.
Thank you for the super chat. Just iron, nickel, cobalt, and allies therefore are ferromagnetic. But remember, anything with an electrical current has magnetic field. Blue dragon? ? Yes, I would allow you to magnetic a blue dragon. I agree that the mislead's a great spell, but it's 2 actions. I mean, come on. I mean, mislead is a level 6 spell, so you were casting that at level 13, and you have to sustain it, and it's kind of, I mean, it's a cool spell, but Cobalt DM. It obviously going from flat check 5 to flat check 6 is totally reasonable, but it's not a whole lot.
RFC.
We got a chat from Roll for Combat. It says, Derek, please tell me in order of what you hate from the least to the most so far. Well, we're not finished yet with the armor. We're about to be. So I will answer that in a second. But we're also not supposed to be giving a review. But unless we'll say this. As of right now, I really like this advancing armor rune. I really
yes.
Advancing rune, I like. Immovable rune, I like. Assisting rune, I think is good to have. Aiding is a little weak. Gliding is a little fiddly. Energy adaptive is so close. I love the design. I just feel like the numbers or the activations needs to be tweaked. I love the idea of magnetizing. I wish it was stronger or it was a reaction. So stronger in effect and an action, or a reaction and the same effect. Misleading, I don't know. Maybe if it was one action, I mean, because you're like casting the spell. Or maybe if this went from like 5 to 8 might be too high, but 7 or something. I mean, I guess it's all about the math is tight, but this for a 16th level rune, I feel like I want more out of this. That's all.
You just asked that question too early, Steven.
Yeah.
You got to ask it after he gets through some more, because there's actually some other ones there I like coming up.
All right, so our next rune is Portable, which is a level 9 rune, and again, etched into any armor. This allows your armor to collapse, I thought I was going to say for some reason, into a black hole, but into a disguised portable form.
It's coming up.
3 actions. You doff your armor. They're really using this doff word here a lot.
I had to look that up. I had no idea what that meant. I was like, what are they throwing at me?
You doff your armor, which folds into another wearable object, such as a bangle or amulet with light bulk. This wearable has features that hint at the armor that it is hiding. You aren't wearing the armor, but at the GM's discretion, you can still activate properties. Oh, that's kind of cool. So
Yeah,
this is like Iron Man nanobots, from like Endgame, where he taps his armor and it expands all over him. You can use an action to revert it to armor, which dons in a minute. So it doesn't actually like don on you.
No,
It like you set it
It's
on.
just-
You know what it is? It's not It's not Iron Man's nanobot armor. It's
just like his
it's
hand.
a suitcase
Oh.
armor.
Yeah. Well, the suitcase, but he always had the one like just where it would go on his hand.
Yeah,
and
but
still
this is
shoot
your
the
whole
laser
armor.
beam.
I'm just saying this is
Fair.
This is the suitcase on the
Yeah, 'cause
racetrack.
he steps into it
because
and-
it folds into something smaller. But then when he busts it open, it still takes him like a minute to get into it, right?
So I'm just gonna stop you there. There's a lot of unique things like that coming up where like it's like reference to something very iconic, like Iron Man portable suitcase. I think is perfect what this is.
All right. So, anyways, I think we can do better for the level 9 than that. I mean, it's fine. I mean, I get if hiding your armor and not being seen with it is an issue for you. That's it. At least
I like the next one.
All right. Quenching, rune 6. Again, we're not supposed to be giving a review here, just a preview. It's etched on any armor. The rune counters burning and corrosive agents. Armor with this rune reduces the DC of the flat check to end persistent acid or fire damage from 15 to 12 or to 7 if you have particularly effective assistance, which I really don't see happen a lot in the game. Like, I don't see a lot of people using that rule where if you use assistance, the persistent DC drops. But it goes from 15 to 12 or 7. They've got 4 levels of this thing. Mm-hmm. All the way up, by the way, to a level 18 rune, which should just say you are immune to persistent acid and fire damage.
Wah wah.
Anyways,
I still think it's pretty. I think the idea is pretty cool though, because that stuff does do a ton of damage.
No,
later on in
it's
the
great.
game.
I would say the 3 most common sources of persistent are bleeding, fire, and acid. So This seems totally reasonable. I don't know that I would ever take any of these lower level runes. I just don't feel like that's enough of a thing. I would think probably. I mean, maybe I just wouldn't take the first one. Going from 15 to 10, 15 to 8, 15 to 5. Those are all real things. But the other thing to remember is, Bob, it's about opportunity cost, right? It's not about the rune that you're putting on your armor. It's about the runes that you're not putting on your armor.
Well, and that was my point earlier to some of those other high level runes. I'm like, why would I choose something over something else? I just thought this was pretty cool.
No, I mean it's
The idea. I think the idea of reducing that those checks are pretty cool for later on in the game.
It's a fun design space to play with, and I think it's interesting that they're doing it. The level 6 rune is pretty weak, but level 6 runes armor tend to be pretty things. But these are very high level for what they do. Honestly, I would see these things as being reduced down. Like, what's the cheapest armor rune? It's like a shadow rune. Is that like the cheapest armor rune?
Let's see. There's slick and those are some
slick and shadow are very low level.
They're like some of the lower ones.
Yeah, so shadow is a 5, and let's see, flick is 5. Okay, so maybe if you like shaved a level or 2 off of all of these, like this last one, true quenching, I think that should be like level 14 or 15.
Yeah,
actually.
that's I'm feeling like somewhere in that range.
Yeah. So
to make it like, wow, that's gonna be sweet.
yeah, so I like the effects. I just think they're overcosted and over item leveled. All right. Spell breaking. You get a +1 status bonus to saving throws and armor class against one specific school of magic. Yikes.
Yeah.
That's pretty rough because you have no idea. I mean, like, not only that, like now you have to look up what every single spell. What's the school of that? What's the school of that? Then you get your player asking every time to the GM, was that abjuration? Was that abjuration?
Okay, I didn't think about that. That sounds super annoying.
Was Bob? What was it? Is it webs? Is it webs?
Oh, is it a web effect?
Is it a
that
web
was all
effect?
in Northern Reaches.
I mean,
is that a web effect?
By the way, I think what this should really say is evocation. It should just say you get a +1 status bonus to saves against evocation. I mean,
I feel like that's what most people are picking.
I mean, maybe enchantment, maybe necromancy, but like, I want a +1 saves against divination. I mean, there probably are some divination spells that have saves, but I mean, come on, obviously. I think most people are going to pick this. I mean, +1 status bonus. Here's the thing: doesn't stack with heroism because heroism gives you a +1 status bonus to all your saves, or +2 or +3. But I don't know. Yeah, it's. I'll tell you what it is. The math is tight. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
All right, we'll just move on. All right. Swallow spike. Oh boy. Your armor responds to your desire to break free of a creature grabbing you by growing spikes.
Like Spike from X-Men.
All right. We've got several different versions here. It is a reaction and an action. All right, we're getting a lot of utility out of this, Bob.
Yep.
All right, they both have the attack trait, by the way. One as a reaction, if you become grabbed, restrained, or otherwise immobilized in a creature's grasp, such as being engulfed or swallowed.
That last part is like the part I really think is cool. The engulfed or swallowed part.
Right, so it's not just, oh, he grabbed me. It's also, I got swallowed.
Then I'm going to spike inside of his belly.
Your armor grows spikes. You attack the creature. You make a +14 attack. Does 2d6 piercing. If they swallowed you, it does 1d6 of points. Listen, anytime
it's so cool.
Anytime you can have a rule that references the rupture value of a target, we are really doing it. Okay. Yes, you become part pufferfish.
Yes, pufferfish. Great example.
If they're swallowing you, it does 3d6 damage, and the damage from this attack can cut you free if it equal or exceeds the rupture value of whatever is immobilizing you. This attack gets an item bonus to the attack roll equal to the armor's item bonus to your AC, and an item bonus to damage equal to double that amount. A lot of text for what is.
There's a lot of text.
But you know what? Being grabbed is a real bitch in Pathfinder 2.
Yeah.
And getting swallowed whole is even worse. It is very
it's pretty crushing.
And grabbing is a real pain in the butt. And improved grab and all this other stuff. And, it's just crazy. But you can also do it if for some odd reason they still managed, if they have grabbed you and you did damage to them and you didn't break free of their mouth or whatever. Now on your turn, you can, if you're being held immobilized, you can just spend an action to make that attack again. It's just the same attack over and over again. That's kind of sweet. I like this armor.
That sounds so cool to me.
And then obviously because it's a flat DC type ability, the attack bonus doesn't scale. So if you want this armor to be useful later levels, you have to keep upgrading it. But I'm assuming these attack modifiers, I'm not going to look it up, but I assume these attack modifiers scale appropriately with level. Let's see. This is level 6. If you were a barbarian at level 6, you would be expert 10, strength 4, 14, armor item bonus 1. So like a barbarian would have a +15 to attack at level 6. And this has a +14 to attack. So it's very, and you get the item bonus from your armor, which that level would be 1, which would be 15. So there you go. The math is tight. It mathed out exactly as it should that you have a +15. So Blady Song says, so if a purple worm swallows you with this armor and then spits you out, are you a spiked projectile? I would have to say absolutely, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
That's fantastic. All right, this is cool. It's silly. This is not something you're going to see in Lord of the Rings. But it's fun. All right, so those are our runes. All right, so the one I like the most is still advancing.
Oh, advancing is so good.
The one I like the least is probably, portable or maybe misleading. I don't know, something like that. But aim-aiding is pretty underwhelming, too. If you have a lot of ranged people in your party, it could be useful. All right. We're going to go on to magic armors next. These are the specific ones.
Yep.
So we probably got some nice art for these, huh, Bob?
There's art from, I think, for sure, every one of them.
All right. So we've got the Arachnid Harness coming in at level 7 and 9. It's +1 leather armor. It gives you 2 damage resistance to poison. What are we even doing here? You can activate it once a day. The ribs form spider limbs, and for 1 minute, you get climb speed equal to half your speed, but you still have your lamb hands free.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. If you use all of your limbs to climb, then you get your full climb speed equal to your land speed. That actually is surprisingly versatile.
It sounds cool.
I mean, this is
sounds
Spider.
like a Doc Ock.
No, this is Spider-Man with his armor with the things that come out.
Oh yeah,
from the
that's
new, from the
Iron
movie.
Spider.
Iron Spider.
But even like I was saying, like Doc Ock sometimes he'll like hold on to something with his arms, but then his hands and free to do whatever he wants. Same sort of concept, and it sort of looks like a Spider-Man armor. In the picture below. It's cool.
Black hole armor.
Yeah,
All right. Well,
you haven't got to
we're
that
not there
one
yet. Well, I mean, it's right here. But all right, Autumn's Embrace is next, level 12. It's a Fey armor, so we don't like it already. It changes colors and hues, flavor. It is a suit of +2 invisibility, which is a great rune. By the way, I highly recommend it. Steven wants to know, is Iron Spider more powerful in real life?
It's going to be a running meme now.
It's +2 invisibility, resilient leaf weave armor. The leaves shed from the armor as they might fall in autumn. Beautiful. It's like poetry. When you activate the invisibility property, Bob, you swirl away, display of colorful leaves. Poetry. I feel like I should write a haiku. All right. It's a 2-action aura. Once per day, you call forth a storm of leaves. It's a 20-foot emanation, and everyone is concealed, and creatures outside the area are concealed to creatures inside the area. For a level 12 armor, pass. Cool, though, sounding, but...
I mean, I like the idea, but yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean... Bastion of the Inheritor, so paladin armor. It's uncommon. It's worn by, Bob...
Iomedae.
Prestigious Knights. Iomedae's Prestigious Knights. This +2 resilient bastion plate is and no other. It's level 12 and no other runes. It's a crime. It's just a crime. It's a crime. Where are the property runes, people? Is emblazoned with the Inheritor's religious symbol and sports a white cloak. While the cloak is white, it gives you a +2 item bonus to diplomacy checks to make an impression. But you can activate it and it becomes red. You gain the benefits of the armor's deflect melee trait without needing to spend an additional action each turn to do it. So it's like permanently raising the shield because it's resilient bastion plate. Bastion plate's the one that lets you protect yourself from melee attacks if you spend the action. But this also means that this thing is -10. What level is this? 12? Yeah, still not. All right, still not interested. Black hole armor. The joints of this black +2 greater resilient fortification fortress plate look like, and that's the one that gives you bonus against range attacks, look like swirling vortices of silver. Non-magical ammunition and thrown weapons aimed at you are destroyed after they hit you and deal damage, or if they miss you. You have resistance 10 to physical damage from ranged attacks.
Yep.
Respect. That's pretty good.
This one's a pretty.
That one's pretty
cool.
good. When an enemy's range attack misses you or hits you and deals no damage, the armor absorbs the projectile. Once it has absorbed 6 projectiles, the armor glows at the joints.
You can see where this is going to go.
Obviously, as a reaction, once per minute, if a ranged weapon strike targets a creature within 20 feet of you, you can redirect the attack to you.
Yep. That's sweet.
That is pretty sweet. Once a minute, so you're going to be able to do it once a fight, but that's still pretty good. So things are being shot at me. I have resistance 10. If it misses me completely, I absorb it, or if it does no damage. If it targets somebody else within 20 feet of me, I absorb it. By the way, it's like, why 20 feet? Champions are 15 feet. Like, pick a range, Paizo. Then if you spend one action, it's only one action. If you have absorbed 6 or more projectiles, they appear out of thin air and transported there, falling in a 10-foot burst within 120 feet of you. Each creature in the burst takes 10d8 piercing damage, DC 35 reflex. For one action, yeah, I'll buy this. All right, this is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is so cool.
This is cool. I mean, also, too, it's like level 16. It's like, oh, what is it? Is it, it's made out of coral. No, it's fucking black hole armor. Like, that's what we want.
The only thing
Okay.
I will say
Okay.
is I think it failed on the artwork.
Okay.
Because right now, I'm envisioning the coolest thing ever.
All right.
And then I looked at the artwork and I was like, I feel like I should have
$10.
kept it in theater of the
Black
mind.
hole armor is pretty sweet.
All right, Anonymous just tipped $10 and said Black Hole armor is pretty sweet, and I am going to agree with you. This armor excites me. I think it's flavorful. It feels high level. This is level 16. It feels high level. Lug is completely correct. Any party worth their salt would totally pre-charge this before you got into the fight.
Yeah.
100%. Maybe you just leave one in there so we could do one action. All right, anyways, very cool armor. I like it a lot. And resist 10, I respect. That's a good amount. At level 16, that's pretty good. All right. We got a couple more. Oh, we get some armor. All right, we got a couple more specific armors to get through here. The Blade Byrni. This is, instead of chain links, this is assembled from metal leaves, each resembling a blade. It's +1 chain shirt, and it's level 7. So we would expect for this to be a lot better, but at least +1. No, maybe not +1. Yeah, maybe not +1 resilient. All right. You pull a link from the back armor, and it becomes a +1 striking dagger. The dagger disappears and reappears as a link in the armor after you strike with it, or at the end of this turn if you don't make a strike. You can activate the Blade Byrni in place of an interaction action whenever you would draw a weapon for things such as Quick Draw. Upgrading the runes on Blade Byrni makes the daggers pulled from it more effective. So they become +2, then +3 if they have various armor runes. Here's the problem.
So you're just taking all these armor.
But they don't last. They last till the end of the turn or until you make a hit with it. But it's still an interact action each time.
I mean,
so
it's just like pulling infinite daggers from nowhere.
I mean, I guess it's. But like, if you had a returning dagger, then you don't have to spend the action. Like, you're just going to eat up a million actions doing this.
Well, it reappear. It's the same. Oh, because you have to take interact every time.
You basically need Quick Draw.
And maybe that's what it's meant. I mean, it's sort of like a ranger thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think rogues get it too, but I don't know. But it's chain, so rogues technically don't get medium. So I guess this is literally ranger army. Or ranger armor. Okay, I don't know. Seems interesting, but whatever. Devil's Bargain is level 6 armor. It's +1 studded leather, which is lacquered in red and black. It has a reaction, which is a fortune attack once per day. You critically fail an attack roll or a skill check or a saving throw. You offer a prayer to Asmodeus, who accepts under reciprocal conditions. Re-roll the triggering roll. So it's like a hero point that you can only use when you critically fail. But you get a +2 circumstance bonus, and you get to use the higher result. So can't get worse, but you already critically failed, so you couldn't get worse anyways. If the re-roll improves your degree of success, the GM can later re-roll 1 strike against you, 1 saving throw against your abilities, or 1 secret check or saving throw. Oh, come on. All right. So I get a benefit, then my GM gets to use it against me? Oh, come on.
It's the devil's bargain. What do you expect? I think it's kind of cool.
I mean, it feels like something that would come out of Northern Reaches.
Oh, I think that's 100%. And there was a cult of Asmodeus, so
Yes.
this is perfect for them.
Yes. I mean, it's fun. I mean, that's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a better hero point for free, and it's a bonus, and you get to choose the higher, and then it comes back to bite you in the ass later on. So, I mean, I respect that. Yeah. All right. So it's fun. I mean, this is definitely a very roguey thing to do, right? So, yeah, George, I agree with George. It's like you just need to hope your GM forgets about it. Psych!
I could see that happening.
You could psych. But yeah. No, it's obviously disappointing because it's like, not disappointing, but it's like, oh, come on, they get to use it back against me. But no, it's super flavorful and it's a very fun ability. So I'm not actually complaining about this. It's more of just like a womp womp. Oh no, they get to use it back against us. Dragon Turtle Plate. It has the Aqua Dynamic trait. Haha. It will not, but everyone who wears armor has a strength penalty to make it. So Aqua Dynamic does not really do anything. But it's made of organic materials. It's one of the few heavy armors, not anathema to druids. All right. So it's resilient half plate made from the shells of a dragon turtle. And if a creature is adjacent to you and targets you with a melee attack using reaction, you roll the hefty plates of the dragon turtle armor towards the foe, and you get a +1 bonus to your AC against that attack. So it is a reaction +1 AC. It's like almost nimble dodge, but they have to be adjacent to you. Right? Nimble dodge is 2, I think.
No, nimble. Isn't nimble dodge 1?
I thought nimble dodge was 2 AC. Come on, Bob. You played a rogue once.
Yeah. What was the I played one for our doll or our poppets. I thought it was +1, but
Nimble dodges 2. All right.
oh.
Um,
But then you have to go get a dragon turtle shell to craft it.
the initial raw materials must include the shell of a dragon turtle.
So this is like the BZB crafting stuff.
Uh-oh. Watch out,
Monster
Steven.
Hunter.
Watch out, Steven. Energizing lattice. This is +2 resilient fortification lattice armor with a network of fine wires. Oh, we just got a tip from Rick.
Rick tipped $5. If you get dragon turtle armor, do you need to like pizza?
Rick asked if we get dragon turtle armor, do we have to get pizza? Someone also in chat pointed out that it is technically half plate. So are you a hero in a half shell?
Ah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Heroes in a half shell. All right. So anyways,
Turtle power.
turtle power. All right. So we've got lattice armor. It's +2 resilient after negating a critical hit with its fortification rune. By the way, this is normal fortification rune, so I think that's like a 19 or an 18 or higher. DC, it's like flat check 18, I think, for fortification. So 15% chance. So someone has to crit you, then you have to negate it, which is only a 5 or 10 or 15% chance. Then it glows brightly for 1 minute, and while it is glowing in that minute, after you got critically hit and negated it with your DC 15 flat check, you can spend 2 actions to make an attack that does 6d6 damage.
I already moved on.
All right.
It's whatever.
David Betsack asked, you asked the penalty in water regardless of strength, maybe? No, you do not. Okay. Thank you. Wealth beyond number. Well, wealth beyond measure. It is 6d6 extra force damage. So that does change the math. It's still, I mean, it's like a power attack, right? But it's 2 actions. But think, I cannot express to you the chain of events that would have to occur for this to be, you have to get crit, you have to negate the crit, and then you have to use it in the next minute. It's a lot of, like, yes, doing 66 extra damage for an extra action on your strike is pretty good. But I promise you that if you put this on your rune at level 13, you will be lucky if those circumstances come up more than a couple of times before the end of the whole campaign.
The chat's making a good point too. Half damage on a miss, which is kind of nice.
No, it's half the force damage.
Yeah, but that's still
that's 3d6 damage. That's 10 damage on a miss.
Well, what's a miss normally?
0, but who cares? It's 10 damage against a level 13, and it's a boss. So now we're talking about a level 15 or 16 monster.
I still think it's pretty good.
250 hit points? No, like
I still take every amount of damage I can get.
After jumping through all of those hoops, I want a bigger payoff. Especially,
I don't disagree.
Especially, by the way, hoops. Anyway, so.
I agree that the circumstances, you've been probably sitting on this armor rune for like 10, or this armor for like 10 levels. You're like, come on, it's gonna happen.
Right. Like. It also
that's why I feel the most frustrating part.
It also puts you in a really weird spot where you're like, come on, crit me. And then you get crit and you're really excited. And then the resilient rune has a really shitty flat check. And then you fail it every time. And you're just like, damn it. All right. So anyways. All right. Interesting. I just don't think, you know me. Yeah. I want more value for my high level.
What about level 20?
All right. Well, this is it. This is it all.
Cream of the crop.
This is the cream. This is as big and bad as it gets. All right. Well, the first thing is it is +3 greater resilient armor, greater fortification. So we're doing it right, people. Bastion plate built like an impregnable castle. I'm just imagining my dude as like a rook from chess. With multiple layers of defense and no weak points. What?
I mean, it is. Wait till you see the picture.
All right. When you activate the armor's deflect melee attack, it is now +2 circumstance bonus to AC, and you get 10 temp. All right. That's pretty good. I mean, again, you're high level, so I get
10 temp at level 20 is kind of weird, but
10 temp
I'll
at
take
level,
any temp.
10 temp at level 20 is nonsense.
Yeah.
But you get it for free when you would quote raise the shield. And now it is a +2 circumstance bonus. Now it's only against melee, but it is essentially like raising a shield.
Correct.
Then we get a reaction once per day when you would die. So we're playing 4th edition now. You drop to 1 hit point instead. and you gain 100 temp.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah!
It's kind of sweet.
This is sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I want to see. Like, that's actually what I want to see. All right, we get another reaction. Once per day, if we would gain or increase the doomed or wounded condition, we avoid gaining or increasing the condition. And if the triggering effect opposes both, we only choose one to prevent. This doesn't remove either of the conditions. So,
Yeah.
basically, there's just two ways we can't die. We can't die from doomed or wounded conditions. We can't die from damage or death effects.
You're the immortal Bastion.
I mean, yes, it's once a day. Obviously, that's insane, and it's a reaction. But like, you know, I'll play with this. I mean, this is great. I mean, it's level 20. You're probably only gonna get 1 or 2 or 3 sessions tops out of this, right? But you know, it's it. You know, that's one of the things I always get to temper your excitement, because you got to realize, oh yeah, right. Like, the campaign's basically over by the time we get here, and that's if we make it all the way to level 20, right? All right, pretty sweet. All right, library robes. Oh, wizard robes. You're a wizard, Harry. All right, they're +1 resilient scroll robes, and they magically store a spell for you during and they're level 9, but they can get apparently higher level. You could choose one spell that you know that is 5th level or lower. You scribe it on the robes as if you had done the inscribe trait, but without needing to go through the normal scribing process. You get a free scroll a day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got some armor here.
Yeah, you would think that you'd want to read the rest of that text, Derek, but I will tell you that you have to go 2 pages before you will get the rest of that text.
Here we go, of that scroll normally. You don't need to be trained in crafting, nor do you need to magical crafting feat. Using this ability erases any scroll. So you get a free... Am I reading this right, Bob? Do you get a free level 5 spell?
Yep. Yeah, I thought so.
Shoot, and it's just got to be a spell you know.
Yes.
You inscribe
it basically onto the robes.
You inscribe that spell on the robes as if you had done so using the robes inscribe trait, but without needing to go through the normal scribing process. You must provide the minimum amount of materials to craft 1 scroll of that type, which is half. So for the price of half a scroll, you get a extra level 5 slot.
Yeah, and then it scales.
Right, it scales to 12 at 6, and it scales to 8 at 15, it scales to 9 at 19.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, that's basically almost a max level spell. I mean, when you're level 9, the max level spell you can cast is 5. When you're level 12, the max level spell you cast is 6. When you're level 15, the max level spell you can cast is 8. That is your max level. And then at 19, the max level spell you can cast is 10. So this is 1 level lower. But I mean,
I still think, but an extra one. I mean, that's what's so sweet.
Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic. All right, here we go.
But that was my thing earlier, Derek, when you asked, like, what was I corked about the layout?
Yeah.
I don't know why I have to go 2 pages to find the rest of my text.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, I do want to note something here for people at home. You are not buying. There's a lot of stuff on the margins here. We got this. We got this treasure thing over here on the right. We've got this pillar on the left. All right, here we go, Bob. Yay or nay? Cool or not cool? Hot or not, Bob?
Yeah. I love it.
Arachnid harness.
Smash or pass?
Yeah, smash or pass. Bob, arachnid harness.
Smash.
Smash. I will smash as well. Bastion.
Smash.
Smash.
Right.
Smash. Devil's bargain.
Smash.
Smash. I was saying with me. The blade Byrne.
Pass.
Pass. I'll pass as well. Library robes.
I don't really like the design, but the actual thing is so cool.
I'm talking about the art, Bob.
It's pass.
Pass for me as well. Troll Hound vest.
Pass.
I will pass as well. Wolf jaw armor. Do we even
pass?
Pass.
This wolf jaw armor. What's that monster movie with the monsters underneath the beds?
I don't know.
And he's got the hand that eats the fucking paper. Sorry for swearing.
I don't know. It's got to be some terrible movie that you like.
It's a.
Right.
People in the chat will know.
Dragon turtle plate. It's a little underwhelming. Pass.
Yeah, pass.
Wasp guard.
I'm okay with that. Smash.
I'll pass.
It looks kind of cool.
Remora has armor.
Smash.
Yeah, I'll smash it. It's pretty sweet. All right.
Yep.
Black hole armor.
Ooh, pass. This is so goofy looking.
It is very weird.
It is not. It was such a cool thing, and I was like, "This is what I got." Now, maybe I shouldn't be harping too bad. I'm not reviewing this. It just seems like I'm a little underwhelmed by how cool that ability was, or that armor.
Yeah. All right, Autumn's Embrace.
Smash.
Yeah, I like it too.
I think
Smash.
it's pretty cool.
Rusting Carapace.
I'm okay with this Smash.
Yeah, I'm moderate Smash on this. All right, here we go. Literally a castle.
Here's your castle. I told you it's like
that's a little.
I actually like it.
No,
I like it.
That's a little too goofy for me.
This is anime level for me, and I'm okay with it.
Energizing Lattice, just as disappointing in the art. All right.
Yeah.
Lindworm's Sankit.
I thought at first I didn't like this, but I actually kind of think of it differently. I'm okay with this now. I'm okay with Smash.
Ouroboros Buckles.
Smash.
Maximum Edgelord. I'll pass. Reef Heart.
A super pass.
Yeah,
That's what I'm looking at.
All right. Lindworm's Sakit. This is +3 greater armor, resilient, blah, blah, blah. A lot of stuff here. Once per hour, it's level 18. My God. You can breathe a cone of electrified vapor. What does that even mean? Dealing 17d6 electricity damage to the area. DC 38 basic reflex saves. You're level 18. A cone of cold would be doing 12, 14, 16, 18. A cone of cold would be doing 18, I think, d6. So that's kind of
yeah, that's all right. It's close.
But it's a 60-foot cone, so it's fine. The electrified mist persists in the area for 2 rounds, dealing 5d6 damage each turn to each creature that ends its turn in the mist. If you slew the Lindworm this armor is made from, you can use the higher of the class DC or the spell DC instead of the listed DC. Oh, all right.
It's kind of cool.
And if you interact, by the way, that's once per hour. And interact, a creature adjacent to you targets you with a melee attack, and they take 4d6 piercing damage as the previously invisible magical spines leap out and shank them. Yeah. I mean, sure, why not? I mean, it's a cone of cold. It seems to work. Whatever. Ouroboros Buckles is level 19. This ominous +3 greater resilient, greater acid resistance buckle armor is favored by assassins who worship Norgorber or Asmodeus. If unfastened, the many belts and buckles writhe like living snakes. It has the comfort trait, of course. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah.
However, while wearing it, the unfathomable concept of infinity pulls at your mind, and each time you awaken, you swear the armor hissed into your ear while you're sleeping, suggesting secret wisdom to you in Aklo, even though you never remembered it vaguely. Okay, wow, that's a lot of stuff.
Yep.
All right.
Just skip over that part.
Once a day, you can call forth the cursed regenerative blood of an Ouroboros to recover from your wounds. You gain regeneration 15 for 1 minute. Fire deactivates it. Each time you regain hit points, if you're in normal form, you collapse into a large swarm of snakes. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Once a minute, you can spray acid blood. You turn to a big snake pile, and it's really edgy, and it's awesome. All right, I'm not going to go through this too much. All right. Reef Heart. It's coral armor made by the allies of merfolk and aquatic elves. It enables you to... Okay, so this is great. This is everything I want to see. Look. It's a +2 armor. It's got the coral armor. It's level 12. And goes, look, it just does it. It just does it. You just breathe underwater, okay? And it gives you a swim speed equal to half your land speed. Beautiful. Simple. It works. And you're like, oh, is this the armor I would wear to go underwater? Yes, this is the armor you would wear to go underwater. It lets you breathe it. It lets you swim. It's great. Oh, also, I can cast Coral Eruption once a day for 3 actions. And if we conjure the coral underwater, it ceases damage dealing after 1 minute, but its duration becomes unlimited. Wow, fantastic. Oh, by the way, if the coral lasts for a year, it might become an entire new coral reef, Bob.
Yeah. I don't know about that last part, but overall, yes.
So, anyways, so I like this because it works. It's very cool. Ouroboros seems very edgy.
Well, I like it simple. And sorry, you went back to the other one.
Steven says it sounds like something he would write. And then this Lindworm armor is obviously, that's pretty powerful. I mean, you're getting a nice, powerful cone of electrified vapor, which is fairly close to a cone of cold, a cone of electricity, 60 foot once an hour. It persists 5d6. You could potentially get your DC if you killed it yourself. And then you just get this random 4d6 every time. It's, by the way, there's no interaction. There's no trigger on this one. It's every time you're attacked, they take 4d6. So this is pretty powerful here. Roll. Steve wants to know why you hate coral.
I have nothing against coral.
All right. By the way, you can upgrade the armor, the Reef Heart armor, and then you get full speed if you're swimming. All right. Remorhas armor is fire-resistant armor. Used to mark the passage of an Urutaki warrior into adulthood. Once a day, you can cast Fire Shield. Okay. And then once a day, as a reaction, if you take 30 or more fire damage before any reduction from your fire resistance, if you've used your Fire Shield activation for the day, it recharges. That's cool. You know, it's very flavorful. Like, if you take enough damage from fire, the Fire Shield recharges.
Yep.
Yeah, it's okay. It's uncommon for some reason. Rusting Carapace, +1 leather armor, lamellar armor. It gives you a +2 item bonus. Only Pathfinder 2, people. While wearing the Rusty Carapace, you gain a +2 item bonus to reflex saves to prevent an object that you're holding from being affected by rust. This also increases your reflex DC to avoid being disarmed by a rust monster's antenna disarm.
That time it comes up.
Listen, if rust is a real big problem in your campaign, I suggest going for it, okay?
Well, you have to kill one of them to make it.
Yes, and you can also, that's right, you must include the hide of a rust monster in order to craft it. You can also cast Rusting Grasp once a day. Pass. Trollhound Vest, +1 hide armor. It gives you a -1 penalty to diplomacy, but it gives you a +1 diplomacy against trolls.
No, I think it's the other way.
Is it? No, it's a -1 to all penalties. Oh, all penalties with trolls, and +1 against people who are plagued by trolls. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, they don't like the trolls. You're wearing the armor made of their people. All right, as a reaction, you take damage from a melee attack while you are bloodied. I'm sorry, while you have half or fewer of your normal hit points. Your body knits itself back together and you heal for 3d8.
Yeah, that's not bad.
No, that's great. This is level 6?
It's just, I wish they would have done better with the art, but I love the idea of the Trollhound Vest, too.
That is really great.
Yep.
Wow, 3d8 as a reaction, infinite times per day? I mean, this has, like, bag of rats, you know, problems, right? Like, you get your wizard to stab you after the fight, and he deals, like, d4 damage, and then you heal for 3d8.
But you have to be under half every time you try to activate it.
Well, right. It only heal you up until you're above half, and then you can't activate anymore.
Yeah.
But, I mean, as a reaction, infinite triggers per day, and it's only level 6? This might be, like, the best item for value that we've seen this entire thing so far. I mean, that's pretty cool.
You gotta find 2 troll hounds to kill.
Oh, yeah, we do have to kill 2 troll hounds. Well,
unless you got a really cool
you know
market.
What? I won't craft it. I'll go to any town that is level 6 or higher, and it's uncommon. Damn it.
Yeah. We're fresh out of troll hounds.
Yes. But no, this is a fantastic piece of kit here. This is probably...
Just don't poo-poo it already. You don't know it's going to get a Reddit already.
Brutus comes in and goes, probably going to get a Reddit. Yeah. I mean, this armor is probably like the strongest armor that we've seen so far for its value, right? I mean,
value-wise.
I mean, to get this at level 6, I mean, you're really doing it, you know? Wow. All right, Wasp Guard armor is +1 studded armor, leather armor, but instead of studs of iron, it's wasps. Okay. You get a +1 item bonus to reflex save against swarming bites and stinging stings. Again, if you're having a lot of problem with swarms, this is the armor to do it. As a reaction, once a day, if an enemy within 30 feet of you strikes you with an attack, your wasps fly out and they deal 1d8 persistent poison damage. And if the person has any allies within 30 feet, the enemy can spend a single action to shoo the swarm away. The persistent effect ends on them immediately, but it moves on to their ally. I love that they can only shoo it onto their allies, not another PC.
Go over to Derek. Go over to Derek.
What a weird item. All right, Wolfjaw armor.
I gotta find out what movie this is. I'm gonna Google something while you're.
All right, it's +1 hide armor, and it's got. All right, you have 3 wolves. There are 3 wolves inside of you. You have a Winter Wolf ability. Once a day, you get a cone, 5d8, 15-foot cone.
It's called Little Monsters.
Okay, great.
1989.
With Fred Savage.
I don't know if that's I don't know actors like you do.
All right. Anyways.
Fred Savage, you're right.
Damn, all right.
Well, there's a part in there where the monster guy turns his hand to like a little dog thing and he eats the homework of the kids. Ah! And I'm like, that's this picture.
Yes, JG got it right. There's one wolf inside of you, but there are 2 arms inside that one wolf. So you get once per day a kind of short-range damage cloud, which is kind of a little unimpressive on the damage there. And then once per hour, your jaws can make a attack instead of your hands. And they do 1d8 damage, not 2d8, because why would they? Well, pass on that one. All right.
We've made it to shields.
We have made it to shields. All right. Sorry, Bob.
I was when you told me you were going to do it quick. I'm like, man, I took me a while to read through this.
All right. Well, maybe it'll be more like 2.5 hours. All right. We'll go a little faster here. Shields. Unlike I like how they're calling themselves out here, Bob. They're like, unlike in the core rule book, many of these new shields have traits.
I'm okay with that. I like that.
So
you should look at our traits.
So deflecting is hardness +2 against certain attacks. Fold away can turn your shield into a gauntlet for easy travel. Harnessed can hold the butt of jousting weapons. Okay. Hefty. Oh, God help you. Okay, no. Hefty is so heavy that it takes 2 actions to raise the shield unless your strength score equals or exceeds the trait. Okay. So no one will ever use this.
Hefty.
No one will wait. No one will ever lift this shield. No one will ever use the shield unless your strength is equal to that. That's pretty much what that says.
Of course.
Anyways, inscribed, you can inscribe on your shield as well, like with your armor. Integrated, it has a weapon in it. Launching, a mechanism within the shield can shoot projectiles like a ranged weapon. And as a shield throw, it is full Captain America. The shield is designed to be thrown as a ranged attack.
Yep.
All right, here we go. Oh, we got some art. Literally a shield called the Dart Shield, which looks like a dartboard and shoots out darts.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the caster's targe, which is like it's got like cheat notes of a spell written on the inside of it. A razor disc, a gauntlet buckler.
So this is like Mortal Kombat, like throwing the thing razor hat.
Salvo shield. All right, here we go.
The gauntlet butler thing is kind of interesting. It's like a fan shield that comes out of your gauntlet.
Oh, I see it. Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
All right,
the salvo shield looks really sweet. I think that's like for deflecting, and the fortress shield just looks like a big rock wall, which is fine.
So we've got razor shield.
There's some more stuff up above though about descriptions. Oh, these are actual.
I don't care about the description. I care about what the shields do.
Okay, keep going.
All right, so we've got a bunch of shields here with everything is +1 or +2. We've got the harnessed shield, which gives us a -5 foot speed penalty. We have the fortress shield, which gives us a -10 foot speed penalty. It is hefty 14, so we definitely are feeling that. So we're definitely going to want to not use this shield unless we have strength 14.
Which I feel like if you're using that shield, you would be like strength 18.
but you're still going to have a speed penalty. But you get +3 to your AC when you raise that shield.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Like, what?
Then you can also get the take cover action.
Yes, and
behind it.
Yeah, but it basically says that if you take cover, you have to take cover while the shield is raised.
Yeah.
But I mean, tower shield is +2 +4, but it is -5 speed. This is -10 foot speed. Like if you're wearing this in fortress armor, your speed might be 0.
And then I take fleet feet.
And it does have a little bit more hardness and hit points though, 12. Other than that, we've got, the hide shield is +2 AC, but it's increased hardness, which would be hardness 6 against bludgeoning. The razor disc, you can throw it for D6 slashing damage. that buckler you were talking about, Bob, is just the fold away. So you can just put it away. So, yes, they cannot reduce your speed less than 5 feet. Thank you. Brutus is quite correct. Okay. All right. So, yeah. I mean, nothing really standing out here to me. I mean, the hardness is 6 on this, which is a little bit higher than the tower shield. But, I mean, that is pretty significant. To have that kind of speed penalty from a shield is pretty rough. All right. Specific magic shields. Now, we know we didn't get shield runes. So what I'm interested to see here is, I think I'm seeing this right away. Shields, by the way, for people at home who are watching, maybe new. Magical shields.
Might be coming over from 5e.
Pathfinder 2 has a problem with shields, magic shields. The book has a bunch of specific magic shields, and all of them are very interesting and cool. And GM Scott just tipped $29.89.
$29.89. Just got in. I'll have to catch
did he try to cap something perfectly on the tip goals? I'm wondering.
No, but you did talk through his tip.
I have to round out that number.
I forget that it does that.
Because you never watched.
Because I can't. Well, I don't hear it on right now.
Your putts, Bob.
Nah.
All right, GM Scott says, he said, just got in. I'll have to catch the VOD for the first part. I'm sure there's tons of good stuff, right? I might have to round out that number. Okay, so I think he just got us to our $250 for our table road trip fun part 2. For those of you who don't know, the Knights of Last Call Patreon, at the end of last year, a celebration of our patron, we gave away over $1,000 in gift certificates to Drive Through RPG. And one lucky patron is going to win. I am an amateur woodworker, and I make gaming tables, like the kind that Wormwood makes, except I make mine customized into whatever things you want to do. Bob has one. And we gave one away, and we, the Knights of Last Call, are going to hand deliver it to somebody, and we're going to set it up. We're going to play some games with them, and it's going to be awesome. And the person who won it lives in San Diego, California, as far away from Cleveland, Ohio, where we are based, as you can possibly get. It's going to be like, and I gotta haul my freaking rest of my staff with me there, because that's part of the deal. It's going to be like a 5-day road trip. I'm going to probably be spending hundreds of dollars a day just to deliver this $5,000-$6,000 table. So, we've started a little fund here, and the folks here and the live streams have been helping support us. And thank you so much for that, GM Scott. And thank you so much, everybody who's tipped and super chatted tonight. It means a lot to us. Thank you so very, very much. All right.
Yes.
So, shields. Shields are really cool. There's a lot of shields in the book that do some fun stuff. The problem is that the shield's hit points and hardness did not go up high enough for the higher level shields in Pathfinder 2. And so if you use the shield to shield block at all, they would usually pretty much break instantaneously. There was one specific type of shield called the sturdy shield, which had higher hit points, had higher hardness, but it didn't do anything else. It was kind of just, kind of boring. And so most people, I feel, were generally speaking kind of compelled to take sturdy shield because, if you have a shield most of the time, you probably had shield block if you were really focusing on shield and you wanted to be able to block with it. And so a lot of us home ruled that it was almost like a rune that you could put on it. So as an example, okay, we have here the Clockwork Shield. It has hardness 12, hit points 90, break threshold 45. A moderate, sturdy shield, which does nothing else, it's just sturdy, is a level 10 item, and it has hardness 13, hit points 104. So you can see that this item is much more competitive on the hit points and the break threshold than some of our older items from the core rulebook. So I really think that Paizo is kind of doing a patch update here without going back and redoing all the items from the CRB. I think that these shields are going to be a lot more competitive because I think they're going to have the hardness and the hit points to actually be usable as something that you might be able to shield block with a couple of times before they would break. So good on you, Paizo. Nice stuff. So here we go. This is +2 striking shield spikes, but they're made of bronze gears. So it's something to smash with. And like I said, competitive stat line. And as an action, once a day, you can activate it. The gears spin, subtly adjusting the shield's position. You gain an extra reaction this turn and at the start of all of your next turns that you can only use to shield block. Amazing.
Yeah, I think it's great.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. That's,
anytime you say extra reaction, I'm like, what?
but the fact
But
that it
you get-
gives you the reaction the same turn,
Yes.
like you get to cash in the reaction that turn, and then you get an extra reaction for the next minute. Now, you can only use it once a day, but that is very competitive. And then you're smashing with it too, and it's got good hardness. And I mean, this is good. That's a great item. And then it goes up, and then you get a level 18 version, which again, the hardness and the hit points really go up. So, very, very glad to see that. I mean, this is very good. I mean, this is really good. This is a great shield. Okay.
Yeah.
So great. I mean, I give this straight up an A. I mean, this is like an A plus. I mean, that's a great shield. All right.
It's got cool art too.
Did we miss it?
No, it's coming up.
It's coming up. Okay. Helmsman's Recourse. This is a standard Darkwood meteor shield, which again, it's up here if you want to see it. Meteor shield has the ability to throw it.
Yep.
Again, hardness 7, hit points 28, break threshold 14. So, not quite as much hit points as the Clockwork shield.
Yeah, it's level item 5.
Yeah, that's true. You get a +1 item bonus to sailing, lore, and athletics checks to swim. Okay. If you're in a body once a day for 10 minutes, you don't sink if you have succeeded at a swim action on a turn. And if you're
Polar bear would have been okay with this.
yes. And if you're submerged, you automatically ascend 10 feet. The higher level versions cast Water Walk on you when you activate the shield, and the highest level one lets you breathe underwater. And I mean, but it's at 5, 7, 11. So by 11th level, unfortunately, it is only just once a day, and it's only for 10 minutes. But I mean, again, if you're in a water,
it's like a
body of water.
It's a ship from a wheel, or it's a wheel from a ship. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like the flavor of it.
Yeah, it's very
flavor.
flavorful. It's not super powerful, but it's very flavorful. I like it.
Yep.
All right, Sanguine Claw. This +1 striking wounding claw, and again, we're seeing some is built with spikes made of beast fangs, hit points, and saplings. And again, some of these things I think are designed for blocking, and some of these things aren't designed for blocking. So we'll get to that in a second. Free action once per round. You or a creature within 5 feet of you suffers bleed damage. The Sanguine Claw regains a number of hit points equal to the bleed damage up to its hardness. So your shield can heal its hit points off of people bleeding around you.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's free action.
That's very cool. That's so cool. Your shield is literally drinking blood.
Yes.
That is A+ flavor. And I mean, I saw this art for it too, right? Like it's this like dragon thing with a spike on it because it's got shield spikes. Very cool. These designs are fantastic.
They did a good job with these shields.
No, they really did. They're knocking these out of the park. All right, sapling shields. The shield withers as it takes damage. It's made out of a wooden buckler. So as an action, the buckler expands with the sapling turning into a mighty oak. The buckler becomes a tower shield. So you can flip between tower shield and buckler, gaining the corresponding AC bonus, speed penalty, and the ability to take cover. But it keeps the same hit points and break threshold, but its hardness and bulk increase by 2. Or you can deactivate it as one action, and you can do that infinite times per day. Very, very cool. But then look at these values. Like, again, these are very competitive with, especially if you're increasing it by 2. These are a little bit better than what you would normally get than from the normal game. These are hard.
I just like the ability to be able to situationally change.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you don't want all that penalty from a tower shield, and then you can just shrink it down to a buckler. I think, and it's one action. You can do it infinite times per day. I mean, I think that's really great. Now, again, a sturdy shield at level 18 or 19, has 160 hit points and hardness 20. This only has hardness 15, 17 in tower shield form, and 120 hit points. So it's still sturdy shields still have a reason, but these new shields I think have a lot more competitive hit points and hardness to compete. Oh, here we go. Level 19 Starfight shield. This high-grade adamantine heavy Rondash, hardness 17, hit points 100, break threshold 50, has a +3 greater striking shield boss and dents resembling craters. While wielding it, you also have fire resistance 15. That number feels good. 3 actions interact once per day. So your whole turn, minus haste.
This thing is fun.
Once a day, you stride up to 3 times. It doesn't trigger reactions. It does ignore difficult terrain. And at the end of your movement, so you turn into a meteor. At the end, at the end of your movement, you deal 6d10 bludgeoning damage in a 10-foot emanation, and so it's a meteor swarm, a meteor strike.
Yep.
14d6 fire damage in a 40-foot emanation, DC 40, with the results applying to bludgeoning and fire. The space where you end your movement and all adjacent spaces become difficult terrain, and the shield glows then red hot for 10 minutes, at which point it gains the properties of greater flaming. So you literally turn into a streaking meteor.
That sounds so cool.
You stride 3 times, you ignore reactions, you ignore difficult terrain because you're kind of probably like zooming, and then you explode as a meteor swarm. Then the area behind you becomes a crater. And then your weapon, your shield, blashing shield, now is greater fire. I mean,
someone said you don't even have to raise it; you just do it.
Yes, it's correct. You do not have to raise the shield or
wield
use
it.
this.
That's so cool.
All right, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, it's level.
Yeah.
I mean, it's level.
It should be sweet.
Yeah, it's level 19, right? If we're not streaking as a bolt of fire across the battlefield and then blowing up as a meteor, leaving behind a glowing red-hot crater, and then our shield is bursting into flames through the energy. If we're doing that and we're 19 and we're not doing that, what are we even doing here, right? Like, that's a great.
So
item.
cool. So cool.
So that's a big win, I think, for me. All right. And exactly, George Washington. As I was saying before, it's not the same as a sturdy shield, which literally does nothing else. It's just for hardness and hit points, but it's only a couple of points of hardness behind a sturdy shield, and I think that is, incredible. All right. Turnabout shield, level 9. It's polished to a mirror finish. How does this one compare? This one has a little bit lower hardness. So I would say this is more of a non-blocking shield. As a reaction, reaction once every 10 minutes, a ranged strike using ammunition such as arrows, bolts, or bullets, but not siege rounds, misses you. Requirements: you have to have the shield raised. Effect: the ammunition enters the shield and is redirected with the same force with which it's originally fired. Make a ranged strike using the ammunition with an attack modifier of 19, targeting creature within 60 feet. Unfortunately, this will never get any better, right? There's no higher level for it. It's just stuck at level 19. So you'll be able to use this shield for a couple of levels, and then it'll fall off.
You mean level 9?
Yeah, I'm sorry. You'll get it at level 9, and you'll be able to use it for 2 or 3 or 4 levels. Then it'll fall off, and you won't be able to use it anymore. And there's no way to upgrade it. But you don't have to have it. You do not have to block with this shield, even though because the hardness and hit points of this are pretty low because it literally is almost described as a mirror. But
basically, yeah, once
every 10 minutes. So basically, once a fight, assuming you're taking a medicine check rest after a fight, you can basically, as a reaction, if attack misses you, you get to make a free range attack with that attack. Not the coolest thing, but it's still fun. All right, warding escutcheon.
I'm wondering what your opinion of this one is. I love it.
All right, an image of a keyhole adorns the coat of arms of the stone. This is a stone tower shield. So its base hardness and hit points are 10, 40, 20 at level 9. How do we do in there? That's kind of low. So I'm not loving that. All right. But as 2 actions once a day, it becomes a locked door.
Keep going.
In an empty adjacent space no wider than 5 feet, becoming flushed with the surroundings so it blocks all passage. The door has the same hardness, hit points, and break threshold as the door. Yikes.
Yeah.
With athletics and thievery, DC 25 to open. The door remains in place for an hour until it's opened or broken, or until you spend an action to end the effect. Also, for 1 minute, once a day, it floats lazily in the air as bricks fly off of it, and it forms a squat tower, casting cozy cabin with the shield becoming the door. I mean, you gotta
It's
respect.
cool.
I mean, look, it's magical. It's it's fun.
I love the flavor of it.
I question because here's the thing. Well,
It's a little weak.
right. Well, the question is, right? Does the door does it gain object immunity? When it becomes a thing, can I target the door? Because at hit points 40, hardness 10, I mean, someone will be able to break through that door pretty quick. But then, and you're like, oh, that's fine. It'll buy a lot of time. It's like, yeah, but then your shield is destroyed. Like your level 9 shield is down. By the way, this goes from level 9 up to level 20.
It does jump up a bit.
And the hardness on this is great, but the hit points are half of what.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I don't know who wrote these books, but I'm going to get a sense. I could be wrong here, but I'm going to get a sense that some authors, I think it's not like they gave one chapter to one author. I think they probably told a bunch of their authors, hey, make some shields. And they told the other author, make some shields. They told Mark, make some shields. I'm going to guess that some of the shields were made by one author and some of the other shields were made by somebody else. Because I can feel like some of these shields seem like they are trying to fix the low hit point, low hardness problem, and some of them are not. So that is one.
I love them all. So like overall, this chapter is great.
This is still so much fun, and I think it's a lot of.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, that's the last one. Okay.
Yeah, and then the good artwork. I think overall, I like all this artwork for them.
Yeah. The sapling shield looks a little sad and pathetic, but I mean, I guess it's supposed to grow up into a tower shield, but.
Yeah, I kind of wish they would have done something a little different there. But
the Starfall shield should have looked cooler for being a level 19 item.
I don't mind it. I think it's fine.
All right.
I think the Clockwork Shield's sweet. I think the Helmsworth Recourse is sweet. Sanguine Clara is sweet. Warden Echelon could have been a little bit different, but I think it's still pretty good.
All right.
I like them.
I mean, I will say this. This is not a review, but the shield section.
Not a review.
The shield section's great. All right. So I'm just going to say that. All right.
Hey, we're already done with shields.
Hey, we're done with shields. All right. So the last section is weapons. All right. So we've got weapons. We got a lot of weird weapons here. And of course, it would be Pathfinder 2 if there wasn't of all sorts of weird guns and stuff like
There's a lot of guns and gun abilities.
Yes, gun and gun abilities. But in the interest of time, we're not going to go over go over everything, but we will go over the traits, and then we'll stop for a minute on the actual list of weapons because it'll just take us too long to go through every single weapon. But needless to say, they added a lot of weapons. There's a lot of, stuff here, but let's go through the traits. Okay. We'll do that.
Yep.
All right. And then you can pause and you can look at the thing and we can, you can do it on your own time. All right. Brace. What?
This is something so we could skip guns.
All right. So
Boothby.
Brace. A brace weapon is effective at damaging moving opponents. All right. So this is like readying a spear, like from old editions of D&D. Mm-hmm. When you ready to strike, so you have to ready to strike an opponent that moves within your reach until the start of your next turn, they deal 2 extra points of precision damage for each weapon damage die it has. So 2, 4, 6, 8, depending on if you have no striking, major striking, greater striking. It's pretty specific, but
yeah,
okay. I mean, it's better than 1 point of damage, I guess. Capacity. Now, this is something that I think will get some people interested here. Basically, your guns can now have a clip. Weapons that have the capacity trait typically have multiple barrels or chambers capable of containing a bolt or round of ammunition. Capacity is always accompanied by a number indicating the number of barrels or chambers. After firing a capacity weapon, you can select the next loaded barrel or chamber as an... it still takes an interact action. All right.
Yeah, I was like, it sounds like something for Northern Reaches, like when they made that 6-shooter.
But it doesn't require a free hand. You can use abilities that let you or require you to interact to reload to switch barrels or chambers of a capacity weapon changes. Each barrel or chamber can be individually reloaded after it's fired as a separate interact action. So it takes one action just to reload a barrel. But a lot of these traits were already in Guns and Gears, I think is what people are saying. So a lot of these traits are...
Well, that's kind of silly then.
All right.
Why are we repeating it?
Well, all right, then we won't do it. I know combination weapons aren't, or were, I should say. I don't know about. Oh, people are saying it's all of the ones that wouldn't be in core. Okay. Well, that's good then. We can just get this. Well, critical fusion is from Guns and Gears. Concealables from Guns and Gears. Concussive is from Guns and Gears, and I think fatal aim is from Guns and Gears. Yep. All right, so look it up, people. We're not doing it for you. Okay, so here we go. Here are our new weapons. Preview time. Screen cap. We start off with our melee
Number 2.
non-advanced weapons.
Yeah.
So
the Rapunzel one is super good. Number 2, the frying pan.
It's got the halfling trait and it's fatal D8. That's right.
I've seen it entangled. It works.
That's right, people. Hear it here first. A frying pan, fatal. A sword, not. Chat going wild. It's the new frying pan meta. I dual wield frying pans. Okay, here we go. So we've got a corset knife concealable inside a frying pan from a halfling. We have a battle saddle. It's an axe, okay. Oh, it's a vehicular thing. We have a Beck. We got a lot of like the old school. We get a lot of the old school like stuff here, like the Beck de Corbin, which has like every trait in the game: raising, reach, shove, versatile. We have raising. That is a new trait, right, Bob?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do a raising. Okay. Raising weapons are good. This is, by the way, because technically things have object immunity in Pathfinder. Raising weapons are particularly good at destroying objects, structures, and vehicles. Whenever you deal damage to an object, including shields or animated objects, structure, or vehicles with a raising weapons, the amount takes an amount of additional damage equal to double the number of weapon damage dice. So 2, 4, 6, 8. So raising weapons do extra damage against vehicles or objects or any of that other stuff. Recovery weapons are thrown weapons, which return to their thrower if you miss. All right. Let's see what else. Repeating weapon, I think was already in the game, but
it sounds very similar to like it's like a machine gun.
Scatter, I think, was in the game. Tether does the same thing that we were talking about before, Bob. It just is a thing that you can put on your thing.
Yes, recovery does equal boomerang.
Yes, recovery equals boomerang.
And they have a boomerang.
And they have a boomerang, yes. Okay, so the Beck de Corbin is raising, reach, shove. The Dancer's Spear is backswing, finesse, reach, sweep, versatile. A lot of things on a D6 piercing weapon. Earthbreaker, one-handed, but can be two-handed for D10. Raising, shove, hammer.
There's also a large amount of disarm weapons in this list.
Yeah, disarm.
When I noticed that when they talked about disarm earlier, then I noticed there was
we got a machete, which is a D6 sword, deadly D8 sweep. That's pretty good, actually. Mm-hmm. There was a training trait. Training. A training weapon is designed to be used when training an animal to participate in combat by identifying which target to attack. Striking a creature with a training weapon gives your animal companion or bonded animal a +1 circumstance bonus to its next attack roll against that target. That is what training does.
There's also another really interesting one coming up in the list, not done by traits. Polytool, which is just a Swiss Army knife.
So then we have some uncommon weapons, a whole lot of uncommon weapons. Sounds like there's a lot of, sort of real world inspired ethnic cultural weapons here.
Yes.
Like Kopeshes and Juahonduao and Fighting Fan and Tekokagi and all this other stuff. Some monk weapons.
That Fighting Fan sounds like Mortal Kombat again.
Yes.
Wasn't that a Mortal Kombat weapon?
So again, I mean, this is a preview. We're not going to pick all of this stuff through here, but
the chain sword was Ivy from
chainsaw.
DOA. Yeah.
So now let's talk about our advanced weapons, because this is what a lot of people want to know. We've got a D8 sword that is fatal, D12, one-handed.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So obviously that is going to be GM Scott tries to let you know that those things were real before Mortal Kombat.
Oh, sorry.
So the Nodachi is a D8 weapon that is two-handed and is deadly D12, but it has reach and brace, and it's also a sword. But I like this Falcata a lot. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves here, people. You're putting this in the hand of a fighter, and they are going to be doing a lot of D12s, one-handed, with a bonus. This is a great weapon. It's just a great weapon. So very cool, very good stuff. We got our chain sword from Ivy. This is, by the way, these are uncommon advanced weapons, and this is finesse plus reach on a D6 sword. So pretty cool. I see a lot of fatals and deadly D8s here. And it's
Dwarven Dongdurger. The Dorndurger.
People asking what brace does. Brace is if you ready, as in like take 2 actions to ready. If you ready to stab somebody with your reach weapon when they enter your reach, it does 2 points of extra damage for every weapon die that the damage has. So 2, 4, 6, 8, depending on how many dice of damage your weapon does. The Dwarven Dorndigger.
Yeah, I read it wrong every time because it's
Dorndigger. It is
Dongburger.
Listen, it has the most important. It has the most important trait, which is flail, which is obviously fantastic. Okay, so we got a lot of interesting new martial weapons, and then we also
I like the 3-section Naginata. I think it's pretty cool. And as a weapon.
Here's some art that we have here. Yep. Look at all this cool stuff. So again, we see a lot of East Asia inspired weapons. We see some because we got things like the Kursigama, the 3-section Naginata, and then I
don't know how to pronounce that one. The Leo Mano is like super cool. It's like you can have like dragon teeth and stuff on that. It's a pretty cool weapon.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff here. There's no doubt about it. And we get some new interesting pole arms. So there's some cool stuff here, for sure.
So you see the poly tool down there in the bottom left corner?
Oh, it is literally a
Swiss Army knife. I told you.
And
kind of cracks me up.
And again, more
I've seen those rope dart people on YouTube do some crazy stuff.
So just a ton of new weapons, a Nodachi, a Naginata proper, and then we got a bunch. Of course, wouldn't be Pathfinder without a bunch of weird bows and strange stuff. You see it here first, folks.
There's a boomerang.
Ryan really wants to insist, Bob, the poly tool is not new.
Okay, well, that's the first time I've seen it.
He just really wants you to know that. Thanks, Ryan.
Well, I appreciate it.
It was in Gods and Magic, Bob. You should know that.
I only read till the Sky. What do they call the Sky Fathers?
We love you, Ryan. All right. So we got some range weapons here. Here are our range weapons. Originally, we thought that this weapon. It's not it. We're not there yet to the Dwarven Mauler. So we got a bunch of stuff here. How dare I not have an encyclopedic knowledge of well, I do always AFK, but I only have it for the things that matter, not a bunch of, useless weapons that nobody ever takes. We've got gauntlet bows and harpoons and rotary bows, and yes, a shield bow, which is a bow with parry.
The rotary bow is kind of cool. It like
here we go.
Turns.
We have
shifts.
the boomerang, which is a thrown recovery club. And,
yep.
So good stuff here. We have the barricade buster, which is an uncommon advanced weapon where you are apparently it's an orc weapon that you can just volley out on an 8-round magazine. So again, take your screenshots, take a look and see what these things do. So pretty interesting stuff here. Agile propulsive Tengu weapon. All right. Good stuff. A lot of new weapons. And here we go. The combination weapons. We originally thought that the Wrecker was going to be the new Gnome Flick Mace. It is a D8 flail with reach and raising, but instead of gnome, it's dwarf. But it's two hands.
Two hands.
It's two hands, not one hand. but it can also be used as a sling that has a range of 20 feet with ranged trip. So you can make trip attacks with the Wrecker from ranged, which is pretty great. But it is, unfortunately, 2 hands. Sad to say. But, but hey, at least it's still doing D8, and the Gnome Flick Mace is now only doing D6. So there's some justice for us here. So yeah. Lots of stuff here. A lot of new weapons, or apparently not new weapons. Take your pick.
But they do have some new runes.
They do have some new runes. All right, so that's it for weapons and stuff. If we have time at the end, if you want to go back to a weapon and you want to talk about it, let us know. Leave a message in the chat or throw us a super chat or a tip, and we'll try to get back to it. All right. By the way, as we go through this, normally we wrap here at 9 o'clock, but we had some nice people tipping and supporting us tonight, so thank you so very much. Again, we're the Knights of Last Call. We cover a bunch of stuff about Pathfinder 2, about Blades in the Dark, Powered by the Apocalypse. We do pretty much everything. We're about to start a Legend of the Five Rings campaign. We're going to be playing Root. We're going to be playing Root in a couple weeks. We talk about RPG philosophy. So we're pretty much we talk about everything but D&D 5th edition. It's been like the one thing that we haven't really ever talked about. And that's not going to change now. So anyways, welcome. And hopefully you're enjoying us. Please remember to like and subscribe because, we'd like to see you again. We go live every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And we talk about stuff. Also, if you really are bored and you want to watch like 200 hours of detailed content going over every single spell, archetype, and class in Pathfinder 2, we got you covered. Go check out our playlists or check out our live streams, past live streams. You're going to have yourself a lot of content to work yourself through, my friend.
I think Reddit also started doing
Shadram tip.
Shadram tip $20 overtime bonus.
He says overtime bonus. That's right, Shadram. Thank you. Appreciate the overtime bonus.
Reddit started doing like a breakdown of certain spells in your review spell list and have discussions about rankings and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
This is why I disagree with Derek. This is why. By the way, the number one, if you think you're like, Derek, I don't think I am a Knight of Last Call. I don't think I would join their Patreon. Just remember the number one requirement to join the Knights of Last Call Patreon is you have to disagree with me. All right.
I don't know if you have to, but it just seems like everyone does.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to our weapon runes, people. These are our new weapon runes. All right. I'm going to be a harsh judge here. All right. But I'm not renewing. Authorized. Rune 3. Now, again, the armor runes were pretty good on balance. And the shields were great. So let's keep it going. All right. Authorized. Someone wants me to go back to the vehicular trait. It is new. All right. Real quick.
So, yeah. Bottom of the page.
Geez. By the way, I have opening this PDF takes more processing power than running OBS. It's insane.
Right there.
A vehicular weapon is attached to a vehicle or worn by a mount and can typically only be wielded by the driver of the vehicle or the mount's primary rider. The driver or rider can control a vehicular weapon with the same hands that they use to steer the vehicle or guide the mount. A vehicular weapon can be disarmed by knocking the controls, typically the reins or steering device, out of the wielder's hands. There you go, Jean Icarus. Jean Icarus. All right, here we go. Magical weapon runes. Authorized. Rune 3. 50 gold. Etched into a weapon. Sharp needles impale anyone who attempts to wield this weapon other than its rightful owner. So this is like Blade Sword from the original Blade. Each authorized wound is etched with the blood of a specific creature. If any other creature wields the weapon, needles pierce you for 1d8 damage plus 1d4 persistent damage. If you have striking runes, they do more damage. The persistent bleed damage cannot end so long as you are holding the weapon. The spikes retract. When this is crafted, you can broaden the criteria who can safely wield the item, expanding the users to creatures such as particular alignment. So now your sword can apparently detect good and evil. Bloodline, patron deity, or so on and so forth. This is purely a fluff rune. But if you really want to, friends, just as a GM, just have all of your evil people have all of their weapons have. You have to be evil to wield this weapon.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think there's a lot of situations where you're really going to have this, good flavor.
No, this is more of a gotcha. Sometimes you pick up the enemy's sword and
Yeah, but even
Ah.
then, yeah.
It got me.
Yeah. Again, it's really more of a flavor thing. And again, I'm totally for this. All right? Totally for this.
With the grief.
Thanks, Ryan. I'm totally for this, except you only get 3 runes on your weapon throughout the course of the entire, day, right? That's tough,
Oh, that's kind of interesting from Damien.
Oh.
Like, you could be like, yeah, everyone, can you please hold this sword to see if we're good or evil?
Boom. We used to have the, what was it called? Sacred.
Divine, or what was it?
Oh,
Smite?
we got a new one. People,
Yeah.
we solved it. All right, by the way, for those of you who don't know, the Divine Lance cantrip,
Yeah, Divine Lance, that's what it is.
the Divine Lance cantrip can be shot at somebody, and then it could determine if they're good or not because it'll hurt them if they're evil. Now, you just have a guard outside of your city, and this is only rune 3. This is pretty low. And you have like the sacred, peace dagger or peace club. And you just say, all right, you're walking in and you go, hold this. And if they hold it, and if they're not evil, it's fine. And if they're evil, it spikes them. And you're like, well,
We solved the mystery.
Solve the mystery. Everybody, okay, wait.
He did it.
Somebody here is the killer.
Yeah, he did it.
Everybody grab this club. Murder solved. And by the way, there's no check. There's no counteract check. It just works. Oh, I love it. All right. Yeah, you put it on a gun. It's like Judge Dredd's lawgiver. Anyways. All right, coding. Level 9, so this better be pretty good. Etched onto a weapon, it has the extra dimensional trait. When etched onto a weapon, this rune creates an extra dimensional space that links to the weapon that wields it. The space can hold 1 bulk, which used to fail the flick mace test, but now passes the flick mace test because the flick mace is only 1 bulk now. So you can hold a flick mace inside your flick mace, which is obviously the #1 thing that you would use for this. Oh no, it can only contain poisons and magic oils that could be applied to your weapon. Stowing or receiving an item from this space still requires an interact action, except when you are using the runes activation, which is still an action, but not an interact action, which means it will not trigger reactions that trigger on interact actions, which have the manipulate trait. Very important note. Because what does this allow you to do? Simple. This is a way for you to store like 10 oils or poisons inside your weapon. And then for 1 action, you can basically auto apply the poison or oil without actually having to do it. And then George Washington has noted something which is very, very true. Pretty nice for toxicologists, and Damian Williams correctly identifies it with a $2 super chat. This is a toxicologist fix. There is a lot of stuff in Treasure Vault, people. Alchemical items, weapons, certain things that are pretty much kind of a fix for various alchemist stuff. There's a lot of stuff in this book that makes the alchemist better, that improves them, and was greatly needed, I think, to solve it.
$10.
Hey, Anonymous.
If an authorized weapon has Bane against you, can you trigger one part and not the other by being disguised?
That's a great question, Anonymous. Can the authorized weapon, if it has Bane against you, will the Bane, because a Bane can't see through the disguise, but can the authorized see through the disguise? That's a great question. Bane specifically mentions disguises. Authorized did not. I'm gonna have to rule that no, the authorized is smarter than the Bane.
That's funny.
See, authorized went to a better school, right? Bane went to some, he went to community college for 1 year. He dropped out, right? Authorized got into an Ivy League school. He went full Mark Seifter. He went to MIT. Okay, anyways. So yes, this is a toxicologist fix. They are patching their system, Strat says, I'm very happy that Paizo is patching their system, even if it's very indirectly. Yeah, they don't want to come out and they don't want to errata or update or, boost the alchemist. So they're kind of doing, the alchemist is a very equipment related, dependent class. So they're kind of doing it through some items and some gear.
Which I don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I'd rather have them do it than not, right? All right, here we go. At Earthbinding, Rune 5, pretty cheap. Reaction, once an hour. if you critically hit a flying creature with the etch weapon, it casts a DC 20 Earthbind rune on the flying creature. Okay, well, that's cool for, your ranged, put on a bow and you hit them and on the flying creature, and now the flying creature gets dropped to the ground. That's pretty cool. And
I like it.
The problem is it is DC 20, so it's never going to scale. Now, Earthbind is nice because even if they succeed at the check, they still fall 120 feet, but then they can just fly again. But eventually this is going to run out.
Yeah, but early on, it's not. I like it.
I mean, flying creatures at this level range can be particularly problematic.
That was my thought.
And I think having this at this level, you can just swap this rune out later. When you get to level 9 or 10 and you have more options to deal with flying creatures, I think you could swap this out.
I mean, we had that combat and tactics about how to deal with flying creatures, especially at lower level, and this is a great one to be able to throw it on there.
We did a whole combat and tactics on just dealing, and this would definitely have made the cut. Earthbind was a spell that made the cut.
Yep.
And I mean, Earthbind itself is a level 3 spell, so you get 1 or 2 of those at level 5. This can be done once an hour. So you're getting pretty good value out of this rune, for sure. Yeah, so good thing for your, ranger to put on their bow and be able to just bring down targets. Let's see. Wealth Beyond Measure wants to remind us that they literally updated an errata Alchemist like 1 month ago. Yes, but I'm saying that rather than just doing it all through the class, they are, they can't just go out and just say, oh, well, we need to redo the whole way we've built the class fundamentally because it's just not competing enough. I mean, I know some people out there do not agree with our assessment that alchemists are not that great of a class, especially at lower levels, but the Knights of Last Call community feels that they are in need of help, and I think Paizo understands that at some fundamental level, and they are doing it through some errata and some updates, but also through some new options that are pretty compelling, and that's kind of where we're coming from. Strat says that they are exceedingly happy with the bits they have seen. No Paizo's Razor in sight anywhere. It's good stuff. All right. Flurrying. This is etched onto a melee weapon with the monk trait. When you make a flurry of blows with the etched weapon and your first strike reduces a creature to 0 hit points, you can use your second strike with an echo of the weapon, and it increases the range to 30 feet. So you never have to worry about wasting your second flurry, and that second flurry, even is sort of like a ghost force, has a 30-foot range.
That's kind of cool.
It is cool. I mean, again, how often is your monk killing the person halfway through a flurry of blows?
Depends on who's in your party, I guess.
I mean, again, it's very cool. It's very flavorful. It's just one of those things where I go, well, how often is this really going to come up? And are you really all that upset? I mean, flurry of blows is one action. Like, how upset are you if you kill it on the first blow and you don't, okay.
It's also rune 7.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's a little high. Like, I want that earlier.
Right. I'm like, 99% of the time people go, just give me the flame rune.
Yeah.
Right, just give me the acid rune. Just give me the electricity rune. Okay. But for 2 actions, you can once a day cast Spiritual Weapon, but it's the Spiritual Weapon spell. The ghostly weapon looks like the etched weapon. Use your normal attack bonus and damage for the weapon instead of the damage in the spell, and use your wisdom modifier instead of your strength when determining damage. You can choose to make a flurry of blows instead of a strike when the spiritual weapon attacks. This still counts as your flourish for this turn. You can sustain this activation in the same manner as the spell.
It's kind of cool.
That is a little bit cooler. What is the range on Spiritual Weapon?
I have a feeling it's like 30 feet.
Okay. It is 120 feet.
That's pretty good.
That's great. Yep. So,
yeah.
Yep. That's good.
You can flurry at 120?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool. Yeah. And it's once a day, but I'll buy. I mean, and it's force damage. Yeah.
I still feel it's a little high on the rune level, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah. But that is actually pretty cool. I mean,
I feel like monks, though, would probably like this. If you're playing a monk, you're like, I just wish I could have something a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is very fun. I think I'm going to go on a limb and say that a lot of monks are going to pick this up and have this for a long time. So this seems pretty reasonable to me. Okay, great stuff. Impossible. Rune 20. Oh, this thing is silly. We looked at this before.
It is kind of silly, actually.
Your weapon is capable of impossible offense and defense. The etched weapon is immune to dispel magic. Again, not many people are dispelling magic targeting an item these days. It just really isn't. and similar effects that could counteract its magic. If it's a ranged weapon or thrown weapon, its range increment is doubled. Just randomly. It just doubles the range increment. Oh, okay.
It's impossible.
It's possible.
How could it happen?
All right. 2 actions, command, envision, once an hour. You and the weapon flash to a perfect attacking position, then return to where you started. Make a strike with the etched weapon against one creature you can see, even if the target is beyond the weapon's reach or range. On this strike, ignore any circumstance penalty, status penalty, and range increment penalty. So, once an hour for 2 actions, you basically can make an attack against anybody that you can see. Like, hey, I can see them 2 miles away. Blink, blink, make one attack, blink back to where you were, or you could shoot them from like 2 miles away.
What's weird, it says like even if the target's beyond the weapon's reach.
Right, because you
So
tell.
why would you go anywhere near them? You just
Well, yeah, but it's because once an hour, Bob.
I know, but like it's like you teleport to like 100 feet away, but I can still see them and then I smash them.
Well, like, okay, imagine like,
right?
Yep. Well, no, but like imagine they're like 3 miles away.
Yeah.
You could shoot them with a
I
bow.
can't- Yeah.
You could teleport next to them and hit them with your great axe.
But you don't teleport next to them, right? You could teleport 30 feet from them. Because it says you don't.
You and the weapon.
Even if the
Even
if the target is beyond the weapon's reach.
Look. It has the teleportation effect.
Yeah.
You are teleporting next to them.
It just says you teleport to the perfect attack position.
You and the weapon flash. Flash means teleport.
Yeah. I get that.
So you flash to the perfect attacking position, which is if it's a melee weapon, is next to them.
Yeah, but why does it say then even if the target's beyond the weapon's reach?
Because if the creature is 10 feet away, they are outside of your reach.
Yeah. So what if they're 20 feet away?
What if they're
Outside
5,000
of my
feet
reach?
away?
I can still hit them then
What if they're-
from 5,000 feet away.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm saying, why would I teleport next to them?
Because it's saying normally you couldn't make an attack against somebody that's not in your reach.
Oh. My point is, why even teleport? Like I could just hit it with my axe from 5,000 feet away.
No, but what are you? How are you hitting them with your axe from 5,000 feet away if you're not teleporting?
It says I ignore the weapon's reach.
No, it's saying, Bob, you're teleporting within the reach. That's how you're hitting them. Like, think about an anime where like there's 2 people and then all of a sudden like there's a flash, there's like a flash of light and then they're like, shing, and then they like, they hit them. And then like when it cuts back, like they're still now really far apart and the other guy's like, and then falls to the ground dead and the other guy's just standing there, right? This is that flavor mechanics combo here that's getting.
Sorry. It's throwing me off.
All right. Point is, this is level 20 and it's not worth it. All right.
It doesn't seem like it's worth it. It seems kind of goofy, but
yeah, all right.
Maybe I'm missing something.
I mean, I guess it's cool for that one-time shot thing, but I don't know. I mean, it's only one strike, so you're like, haha, they're 10 miles away, and you're like, okay, but they're still alive. Hey, we got a tip.
$5. Bob is saying the ability didn't technically tie the attack to the teleportation and just accepts the limit of weapon range.
Yes, Krogan is right. Krogan's point is that Bob's point is that in Bob's mind, this is what Bob is imagining. Bob is imagining there's a guy 3 miles away. You teleport next to him. Sup. Then you teleport back. Then you teleport back to where you started. Then you swing your axe from 3 miles away somehow, and then he gets hit. That's how Bob interpreted that that thing. Am I right, Bob?
A little bit, but I think Ryan's got it right. Like, why they add that reach part in there? Because if you can just teleport right next to him, then what does it matter?
Yes, I suppose that is true.
Yeah. Anyway,
okay.
Continue on. We could spend an hour complaining
yes.
about why I don't understand something.
Right. All right. Krogan, thank you for the tip. We're very, very appreciative of that. Okay.
It's kind of funny though.
For level 20, I want more. That's all. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if I have a level 20 rune, it doesn't have to be infinite range, right? But it could say like, for one action, like, or for 2 actions, infinite times per day, you could teleport 120 feet and then make a strike. That's what I want an impossible weapon to do. I want my character to be like an anime superhero at that point, right? Like where I'm blinking around the battlefield and hacking and slashing and whatever, Boothby. He's 3 miles away. You teleport in and hit him. Then in the hour before you could do it again, he treats wounds to recover his
That's pretty funny,
That's pretty
actually.
good. So
That's pretty good.
All right, Merciful is rune 4, very low level
Yep.
rune. Etch on a weapon. They have the non-lethal trait and can never be used to make a lethal attack. Any persistent damage that would be dealt by this is negated. Okay, so super non-lethal, can't even be used to make a lethal attack, no persistent damage. And on a critical hit, it now causes them to become fascinated with you for 1 minute, which is a useless condition. As the target is bombarded with feelings of guilt and remorse, this is a mental effect. And then if you have access to the weapon's crit spec, you have to choose it or the merciful effect. So you'd actually have to give up on knocking them prone or on, shoving them or, knocking them off balance in order to make them fascinated with you for 1 minute, which is not great.
Well, and it's funny, they even add this like flavor area above it about why do we have weapons of peace? And there's like some gobbledygook about it.
Yeah. Again, it's probably more of a flavor thing, because like gladiators. Yeah, gladiators and guards would use this because that way there's no
training. Yeah,
A Catholic says there's no save on the Fascinate. Catholic, there doesn't need to be. Fascinate barely does anything. So, but then we have the Merciful rune, but then we have the Pacifying rune. So the Merciful rune. See, so tell me again. Tell me they said, hey guys, we need you to make some runes. For weapons, I know, just spitball some ideas. Maybe something for like, Merciful or whatever. And then we get one per author submits Merciful, and the other author submits Pacifying. And they go, fuck it, print them both. This is the not.
That's why we don't want to get to review books, Derek.
This is the Knotsman and the Rope Golem all over again. I mean, that was from.
I thought those were pretty good, but those were from BZB.
That is from BZB. Okay. Pacifying is apparently a reprint.
And that was from multiple authors.
Well, this is okay. So apparently this is a reprint, and they just put it in here anyways, because apparently we don't have access to Archives of Nethys, according to them. But anyways, it's a reaction. You damage a creature, they have to make a DC 20 will save, or they become pacified, and it's kind of like when they succeed on a calm emotions. They take a -2 penalty to attack rolls, and they get a clear warning that they should stop killing. So fine, whatever. All right, Swarming, Rune 9. Etched onto a thrown weapon. Able to copy itself many times over when thrown into the air, it is filled with deadly blades. The air is filled with deadly blades. A swarming weapon turns a single weapon into a shower of devastation. So, 2 actions, once per hour. You fling your weapon, and it multiplies as it flies through the air, filling a 30-foot cone. All creatures within the area take damage equal to double the weapon's number of damage dice with a DC 26 basic reflex save. So assuming our damage dice is like D4 or D6, this is a Rune 9. We have a Striking Rune. It's doing 2 damage. Let's say we're really cheeky and we somehow have a greater Striking Rune on there, which would be a lot. That would be level 12. But whatever, we'll say we have it. So we're doing 3 weapon dice. So now we're doing 6 weapon dice with this, which would be 364 or 66 damage in a 30-foot cone once an hour.
I like it. I like to be able to spread it out.
At level 9, though?
I mean, I get it, but I still think the cone part of it is pretty nice.
I mean, it's, I don't know.
Oh, I think people in the chat are agreeing with you.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, oh, wait, Bob.
What? What did I miss?
Well, I don't know. I read this. The way I read this was that it's double the damage dice. But they're saying all creatures within the area take damage equal to double the weapon's number of damage dice. So do they take 6d weapon, or do they take 6?
Wait a second. All creatures within the area take damage equal to double the weapon's number of damage dice. Double the weapon's number.
So for example,
if you have a greater, it's 4?
Exactly. If you have striking, if you have a striking rune, it does 2 weapon dice. So is it 4 weapon dice, or is it just 4?
Huh.
All right. Well,
yeah, that's.
I don't know if this is just badly written.
I think it. Yeah.
Come on. Once an hour to do 4 damage in a cone. Come on.
Okay, that sounds pretty weak.
4 damage with a save.
Ugh.
All right. Well, chat is coming in strong with the thing. Damien saying it's an AoE gravity weapon. Fogan88 says weak. Well,
Yeah.
you know. All right, Hall
Okay.
All right.
Well, I concede.
Stay on target.
All right,
We're too close. Stay on target.
Let's keep going. All right, let's keep
Yep.
going. All right. Oh, that's it for the runes. This is not a review.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Now you're getting the specific magic weapons.
All right, here we go. Specific magic weapons. This is an interesting thing here. Coordinating gear. Some adventurers view their weapons themselves and even their teammates as part of a well-oiled machine. It's cogs grinding up gear enemies in combat. Okay. Thanks for telling us that.
Well, it's specifically interesting in the second paragraph or second part of this page where it's grounding spike and polarizing mace. It's like if you have one item and your teammate has the other item,
okay,
they work off each other, which I think is actually really cool.
No, okay, I got it. Okay, so these are the clockwork arms. So all the stuff here is part of the clockwork, team of stuff, right?
I don't know about that one. I was specifically talking about the grounding spike and polarizing mace, but
Okay.
I guess I'd have to reread the piston gauntlets.
Got it. Yeah, these are paired weapons. All right. Well, never mind. These are just happen to be clockwork arms. All right. So, Rick Sherman said, we lost Tyree. We lost Hutch. They came from behind. All right. We got a level 13 item and a level 6 item. The first one's uncommon. This is a piston gauntlet, which is a +2 greater striking flaming pantograph gauntlet, which is from Guns of Gears, which I didn't know was a thing, but I'm going to slow down to the art because this is what this thing is. It is a flaming boxing glove on a mechanical spring arm.
I also thought it was weird that they put, like, sometimes they put in this book, like, parenthesis Guns and Gears and then the page, and then sometimes they put a really small asterisk, like,
I noticed that.
G and G.
Yes.
Like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, sometimes they did that and sometimes they did not do that. I noticed that myself. Like here they say that they have the little
Go flaming fist.
Yes. All right, so we've got ourselves a boxing glove on the end of a spring arm. We are now Inspector Gadget. And but it's greater striking and it's flaming. It releases a puff of fire each time it reaches the end of its linkage. Once a day, for 2 actions, you can supercharge the gauntlet's attack, make a melee strike. This counts as multiple attack penalty twice. If it strikes hits, you deal 2 weapon damage. This is literally power attack. This is 10th level power attack once a day. That provokes an attack of opportunity. We'll leave it at that. All right.
Yep.
All right. Windless bolus.
I actually think it's windless.
It is a windless. People in chat, how do you pronounce windless?
Well, I think it's a windless because it talks about how it, like, spools out more cord as it's thrown.
Right. But
isn't that why would it be called windless?
Because it is a sailing device.
Oh, really?
Yes. So, for example, Bob, I will put in chat.
Oh, people are like, yeah, they're all telling me how to pronounce things.
Bob, how would you pronounce that? How would you pronounce this word? Coming up.
Bowline?
Is bowling.
Bowling.
No, bowling. Bowling. All right.
That's the bowline.
No, that is a bowling, like a bowling lot. I like Aaron's pronunciation best. We're going to go with that. Windy lass. All right, so this is a windless bolas. Clockwork mechanisms tick away inside the right. So these are +1 striking returning bolas, which, to be clear, if you're using a throwing weapon like bolas, it should probably be returning. Spooling out cord in midair. 1 action, interact once a day. The cord of the bola I think it's supposed to be bolas, but the cord of the bolas snakes out as you throw it, allowing the weapon to wrap around a group of enemies. You can use the bolas to attempt a ranged trip against all creatures within a 5-foot radius burst within the weapon's first range increment. Roll a separate athletics check for each target. Each attempt counts towards your map, but don't increase your map until you've made all the attempts. That's pretty powerful. I get why it's once a day. Obviously, 5-foot radius. I mean, if you throw this and you trip 3 people, right? I mean, that's unbelievable.
Awesome.
I mean, that is unbelievable. 5-foot radius obviously is is pretty tough there. Bob, I got another one for you because we're talking about sailing.
Oh gosh.
All right. Another one in the chat.
Derek, this stream's gonna take 2 hours. Bob, let's learn another leeward.
Lured.
Oh wow. I would not have said that one.
Sorry. All right. All right. Paired weapons. All right. We got a grounding spike, the polarizing mace, and the rhyme foil, but I don't think that's part of the group. Maybe it's just separate.
I don't think it is, actually.
All right. The grounding spike is a +1 striking thundering dancer spear, which is new in this book, and its point gives off ozone. If you hit a target that has been struck by a polarizing mace, within the last round, you deal additional electricity damage to the target equal to the number of grounding spikes damage dice. If you critically hit such a target, the creature is flat-footed. So if somebody hits, granted, these could both be held in one hand. You could be the one holding both of them.
Well, that's interesting.
So if you hit them with the mace first and then the spike, you're going to do a couple extra points of damage.
Yeah, I don't know if it's over strong. I like the idea that teamwork helps benefit the weapon that you're using.
Yeah.
I like that concept, but I don't know if these are so strong or not.
And it by itself does nothing, right? Like you need the polarizing mace. Right? Yeah.
That one, but the polarizing mace actually does do something.
Right. So
no,
it's also a striking shock. So this one's thundering, this one's shock. It's a light mace. 2 actions once a day. The wielder of the grounding spike is within 30 feet. So that's your ally within 30 feet. A surge of electricity connects your weapons. All creatures in the line between you takes 4d12 electricity damage, which is essentially a level 3, caster level 5, but spell level 3 lightning bolt. So once a day, you can make a 30-foot lightning bolt between you and your ally. It's okay.
Again, I like the concept. And then Rhyme Foil and then Shattered Plan are the next paired. Okay, so
those two are a pair. So, I mean, here's the thing. This is cool. This is fun. Obviously, it's Paizo. They're trying to keep it balanced. They don't want to make something completely broken and, that's going to be like, oh, you do 1,000 damage. I mean, they can't do that. But
I mean, I like the idea of them introducing this because it could, for something in the future, be cool, something cool. I like the idea.
Yeah. All right. Slanesh, well, it's technically Slaneshi, but Slanesh. Slanesh Book says the Pentagraph Gauntlet has reach. Well, I hope so. It's on the end of a, extend a ladder thing there. Rhyme Foil is a +2 striking frost rapier. And once a day, for 2 actions, you hit a creature with using your Rhyme Foil as your last action. So you have to hit somebody, and then with 2 actions remaining, use your Rhyme Foil. So you have to hit them with your first action. You can't have done anything else unless you hasted to stride. You cast a 5th level Phantom Prison on the target. DC 22 Will to Disbelieve. If the target has been damaged by a Shattered Plan, the DC becomes 24. So that's kind of interesting, a way to kind of up the DC. It is a static DC, which obviously get out of group here or get out of range quickly, but it's all right. Shattered Plan is a +2 striking impactful boomerang. So we got a rapier and a boomerang. It's riddled with glowing hairline cracks, but it feels solid in your hand. If you damage a target that has been struck by the Rhyme Foil within the last round, they have a -5-foot speed to their penalty of their speeds and a -10-foot penalty of their speeds if they were critically hit. Again, I like the idea of these. I just don't know how.
I think they're testing it out.
Yeah. Next is the Celestial Army or Armory. We've got the Blessed Reformer, and we have the Reaper's Crescent, and we have the Stargazer. All right. So these are the divine trait and the good trait. So we've got the blessed reformer. The celestial word for repent is written here in golden lettering. It's a +2 greater striking, merciful, womp, mithril warhammer. An evil creature is enfeebled, 2, if they carry the weapon. Once an hour, by the way, it's level 14. You steal your resolve and you cast protection on yourself. By the way, that is a +1 status bonus to your AC for a minute. But you can do it once an hour, I guess. It's not bad. I mean, it's a level 1 cleric spell. Level 14. I mean, you know, you couldn't just give a circle of protection. Come on. Redeemer wielder. If you're a champion of the Redeemer cause, you gain the following benefits. When you critically hit, the creature gets -10 penalty to its speeds and can't step. And we got an additional way to activate the weapon. Once a day for 1 action with the interact trait, you hit a creature with the Blessed Reformer as your last action, and now you can calm emotions at the same level as your champion focus spells. And the creature takes a status penalty to their save against the spell equal to the Blessed Reformer's number of weapon damage dice. So you smash somebody in the face, Bob, and then you calm their emotions. But because
I can't kill them.
It is a merciful weapon. GM Scott asks, isn't protection uncommon? So is the Blessed Reformer. But Calm Emotions is a incap spell, Bob. And you know that when we play Dark of Winter, I use Calm Emotions to pretty brutal effect. It is a fantastic spell. A lot of people sleep on it. Obviously, you need to have it heightened to make it useful.
Yeah, because incap.
And because this heightens to your champion focus spells, this is pretty much going to be always at your highest level. And that means that's
not bad then.
Really good. Yeah. And as far as, it's only once a day. I mean, it's not great, but you're getting a max level Calm Emotions. Now, it still has incap, and obviously this only works if you're a neutral good, a neutral
yeah,
good,
a lot of requirements.
A neutral good champion. But yeah, it's a fantastic spell, and I like that it scales up here automatically. And the fact that the creature now gets a status penalty against its save against that equal to your damage dice. I mean, getting a -3 penalty to your save to be basically taken out of the fight, damn fine. So I like it, and it feels very on par for a merciful weapon, right? Mm-hmm. Neutral good. So great. Aaron says they kind of like that super specific class requirement. Yeah, it's obviously you don't get as much reach and use with the item, but it is what it is. All right, the Reaper's Crescent is an alabaster +1 striking sickle. Moonlight causes the second rune to change with the moon's phases during the new. Oh God! All right, very flavorful, very fun, but crazy here. During the new and crescent moons, it's Ghost Touch. During the quarter moon, it's Fearsome, and during the gibbous and full moon, it's Wounding. When wielded under moonlight at all, it deals additional cold damage equal to its damage dice. So 1, 2, 3, 4 extra cold damage.
Excuse me, GM, what's the moon look like tonight?
GM, what's the moon like? GM, I need a full calendar, GM. I need to know how the moon
Moon
phases.
check. Can
I make a recall knowledge moon? Is that nature? Does anybody have nature? I want a recall knowledge check. We're underground. What is the moon like right now? Okay. Not to mention, it's like, hey, we should go fight those undead. It's like, dude, it's gonna be the new moon. In a couple weeks. Can we wait? Then I'll have Ghost Touch. But can we wait a week to adventure? My build doesn't work until the moon is right. Oh, great. Well, listen. You know what? My Mercury's in retrograde. So I can't go on an adventure either. It's just not a good time for me. All right.
Oh my God. I don't know if you should read that last comment.
Okay, here we go. From Cian. I actually have a player who wants to track the in-game calendar and moon phases because he worships a moon deity.
There you go. So this is like perfect.
Aaron, your campaign, this thing's double broken. You're like, well, the one moon is new and the other moon is quarter. This thing gets all
both.
You take this thing to
sick.
You take this thing to Kryn, right? Which has 3 moons. That's Dragonlance's world. That world has 3 moons. You could get all 3 when the moons conjoin. You're like, I am ultimately powerful. It's like Sozin's comet. Oh, Eberron is broken build. I think they have 13 moons.
They're saying Galarian has 2 moons. I don't know if that's true or not.
Wow. Oh, KC says 12 moons. You're right. I forgot. Eberron is 13 minus 1. 13 minus 1. 13 minus 1. All right. Stargazer is a crystal ball, and it orbits your head.
This one's kind of cool, actually.
All right. I'm already here interested. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
So it's because it's not a weapon, but normally when you think of it, it is a clear quartz crystal ball that is orbiting your head like an Aeon Stone. As long as you have the Stargazer invested, you can use an interact action to direct it to orbit one of your hands, where you can now telekinetically smash the orb into foes, wielding it as a +2 greater striking returning club. It's very like Shang-Chi.
I was thinking Magneto when he gets the iron from too much iron in the blood.
Okay.
And it's like the 2 spinning balls.
Yeah.
He shoots them out.
So it's a +2 greater striking returning club. Now, when you direct the Stargazer, your hand is full. Oh. And you can send it back to your head. I don't like that part either. And you can send it back to your head with another interact action. On a critical hit, the Stargazer pulses with hypnotic starlight, dazzling the creature for 1 round, and it doesn't add any crit specialization effects.
I still like it. I think it's pretty cool.
I know, but clubs kind of suck.
I hear you. I still like it.
I can't remember what the clear quartz Aeon Stone does, though. Yeah, I mean, X says, is there any class that would use a big dumb one-handed club and when they're 14th level?
That is true. It is, the level is way too high.
All right. Well, if this is a clear quartz crystal ball, it also lets you class clairvoyance once a minute and lets you twice a day cast scrying. And then you can also go beat people on the head with it. All right. Well, I already hate these. You know that because I hate beast guns.
The beast armaments?
You
could probably skip most of these.
I hate beast guns so much.
I like the Dragon Tooth Club. That was pretty cool.
I just hate beast guns. I just hate everything about beast guns. Let's see. Yeah, they're crafted from monsters. So we got some new beast guns, people. We've got the Algolothu Lash, which is coated in slime, because that's what I want to be wielding, is some gross aboleth's body, which is now somehow a gun. Because that makes sense. So, I don't know. Screenshot it, pause it, look at these stupid weapons. An alicorn...
yeah. Some of them are okay, but they're whatever.
Oh, it's a whip. Oh, I'm sorry. He's right. It's a whip. It is a whip. Okay. It's not a beast gun. Okay. It's just a beast armament. Okay. It's not gun. It's not a gun. It's not a gun. Bob, why didn't you tell me it's not a gun?
There's like, how YouTube demonetized. You said gun way too many times.
Yeah, that's true. We're not speaking about that kind. All right. So it's a whip made from the tentacle of an aboleth. Okay. So it's a tentacle whip. It's still too weird and edgy and occulty for me, but I get that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people's jam. Once a day, you can hit them with slime. Is this a good?
Yep.
Stage 1 does nothing, so that's horrible. Then they become drained, and then after like multiple days, they become okay. So this is horrible. All right, an alicorn lance. All right, so we killed the unicorn. Oh no, it's got to be willingly granted at the end of its lifetime. The unicorn.
It doesn't have to be actually.
Oh, okay. The initial raw materials must include a horn willingly crafted by a unicorn. In rare instances, an alicorn lance can be made with a forcibly taken horn. However, this heinous act pollutes the horn's magic, causing it to glow with a sickly red light, and now it deals evil damage instead of good damage, and make the unicorn spirit evoked whinny invisible pain. All right, so we got a lance that is made out of a unicorn horn. That's kind of sweet.
That is kind of sweet.
In addition to normal damage, it deals 1 good damage, which obviously doesn't sound like a lot, but that basically means this here is here to proc weaknesses, right?
Yep.
As a 2-action interact, once per hour, you can evoke the spirit of the unicorn, which you ride in a shining charge. Move up to twice your speed and make a strike with the alicorn lance. You gain the benefit of the lance's jousting trait on this strike. If you are already mounted when you do this, the unicorn spirit takes shape around your steed, granting it a +10 bonus to its speed for that charge. All right. I mean, that's cool. It's a unicorn.
Yeah, I think it's sweet.
You could once an hour you can summon a unicorn spirit and kind of make a unicorn charge, and +1. That's okay. I mean, it's fun.
I like it. Flavor and pretty decent. So.
So this is a gun, right? Because it's a striking air repeater. An air repeater has to be a gun, right?
I mean, it's from G&G, so.
Yeah. All right. So it's made from the still living pitcher of a Dezulon. It deals acid instead of piercing. if once a day you can expose somebody to this poison. Stage 1 is flat-footed, which is okay. Stage 2 is flat-footed and clumsy. That's much better. That's a -3 to their AC. And then stage 3. So, okay. I mean, that's not bad. Because if they fail the first one, they're flat-footed. If they fail it twice or crit fail on the initial one, they're flat-footed and clumsy. So, all right. Dragon Scale Staff. This +1 striking bow staff is covered in shells shed or harvested from a dragon. When benefiting from the circumstance bonus granted by the parry trait, you also gain resistance 5 to the trait of the dragon's breath weapon. All right, that's kind of cool. Like if you're parrying with your staff, you get like the resistance to the damage that the dragon did. That's pretty cool. When this resistance prevents you from taking damage, the dragon scale staff deals an additional 1 damage of that type for 1 round. Yikes. Okay. If something's breathing fire on me and then I don't take any damage because I took 5 off and then I deal 1 point of fire damage back, chances are probably pretty good that the dragon or whoever breathed fire on me isn't probably going to be that weak. He's going to be that weak to fire. So that is a little disappointing. Womp womp. All right. Dragon Tooth Club. Greater striking Leo Mano. That's that weird thing with the teeth, Bob.
Yeah, that's why I kind of liked it.
The Leo Mano has Flaming, Frost, Shock, or Corrosive Rune as appropriate to the dragon from which it was taken, and it also grants you the associated energy trait. Once per minute, for 2 actions, you swing it, sending several of the teeth shooting through the air on jets of energy. It does 3d6 piercing, 3d6 damage, 15-foot cone. The teeth hunt down their target, correcting their flight in midair, which reduces any circumstance bonus from cover by 2. Well, once a minute is much better than like once an hour. And it's not the strongest cone in the world, but
No.
60.
I kind of like the idea in terms of like a crafting aspect that like you killed the dragon and you crafted the... Like this is like I'm talking about the crafting stuff for BZB, but like, you know,
Yeah.
I craft the weapon from the teeth of the dragon we slain.
Sure, right, because you still have to have the dragon. I mean, it's cool, but
It's fine.
For something
I
like,
like it.
I don't know, for something like this, I want it to pop, you know?
I know you do. I still like it.
All right,
I like to have items to be putting in my campaigns.
Gassed Stiletto. Here's the, going back. This is the type of item, Bob, that when you're playing with like Robert and Nick and like your brother,
These are all my buddies.
these are all Bob's friends that he plays with in his home game. They would be like, "Oh, that's so cool." The teeth seek them out in midair.
That's right.
And you'd be like, "Yeah, they seek them out. They don't even get cover because it like goes around the cover like a heat-seeking tooth." And they would be like, "That is so awesome." And I I'm just so jaded from years of playing these games. I look at it and I go, it's not enough.
Well, my team likes it.
Yeah, and also the other problem is, of course, it's a classic problem. You're like, here's the problem. Here's the other problem with this item. Let's say you give this to your cousin, and he really likes this item, and he's really excited about it. And then he gains a couple levels, and suddenly this DC 29 flat, this 6d6 damage flat, was kind of embarrassing at level 12, but at level 15, it's totally embarrassing. And then you basically have to say, you know that cool item that you really like, that you guys killed the dragon and crafted this yourself? Yeah, you kind of have to get rid of it, man, because it's not.
This is the kind of item you give to a party when they're under leveled as like a really awesome thing, and then it gets on the wayside later.
Yeah. So it is unfortunate, but yes, I agree. Like if you give this to your party, like if they killed a dragon, let's say at like level 9, and then you gave them this item at level 9, they would be like, "Oh my god, this thing is so sweet."
Yeah, that's when it's cool.
Yeah.
That's how I envision it being used.
It's very simple. You want to have fun? Break your party and watch your people enjoy it. Your game.
This is actually true. They love it. Everyone loves it that way. Anyway, keep going because there's only, I think, 3 more pages.
Okay. Gas Stiletto is a dagger made from undead skin. You get a +1 status bonus to saves versus paralysis. Okay, why not? It's only a level 3 item. So, I mean, a +1 dagger is a level 2 item. So we're paying 1 level to get a +1 status bonus to paralysis. And once an hour, we afflict the next creature with a terrible wound that affects the stench of the grave. For the next minute, the target creature, as well as any creature within 10-foot emanation, that includes you and your party, have to make a DC 16 fort save or become sickened. Plus slowed 1 if you critically fail it. And while within the emanation, you take a -2 circumstance penalty to saves against disease and to recover from the sickened condition. So you stab the guy, and then you start vomiting. Right? Am I reading this right? I mean, I guess you could throw it.
That's is that what they want you to do with it?
I mean, I would really hope so. George Washington says you could throw it. By the way, this thing's not returning.
Yeah.
This thing's not returing. So
Yeah, I was saying it doesn't come back.
it's not returning. So you could just Yes.
And also, it's like any creature, so like your party's all pissed at you.
Right now they can't go in because the guy sounds like a ghast. Anyways, I mean, it's a cool idea, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right, last one is or this for the Sizor
Not
of
the last one.
Sizor of the Crab. It has the grapple trait. I don't even know what the Skyzor is or Skizor.
Wait till you see this picture.
All right. By the way, it's one action, interact, which does provoke things like attack of opportunity. Your last action was a successful strike with the weapon, or you have a creature. Gotta wait for it. Here we go.
I don't even start on with me on that.
By the way, the Blessed Reformer, which was that cool item we did like, does look pretty sweet.
I like it, actually.
Here's the Grounding Spike, the Shattered
The Polarizing
Plant.
Mace looks good.
The Alicorn Lance is cool with the curly lance at the end. That's cool.
The Lash.
All right, here's
you're talking about different
the
things. Sorry.
Alicorn Lance, the thing with
Yeah.
the horn.
Other-
Oh, there's our
You
sky.
see the Sizor of the Crab?
There's the Skyzor of the Crab. Get him! Get him!
The windless bolus is like a fishing wheel, but I mean, I guess that's what it would be. Yeah, got him.
Got him.
But some of these look, I think, pretty.
No,
sweet,
I mean,
so.
listen.
Yeah.
In a world of in a world of piston gauntlets and Alligathulu lashes, and Skyzor of the Crab, I am happy to just see the Blessed Reformer.
Yeah.
Or the Rhyme Foil. I think that's a cool looking sword.
Yeah.
I like the Polarizing Mace. That looks pretty cool. These are. I mean, that's,
Actually, I think the Polarizing Mace is actually really sweet.
I mean, that looks like something you would find like in a video game. Like that looks really
Even
cool.
in the Vampire Fang Morningstar, which is coming up.
Oh, I see it.
Kind of cool.
Yeah. All right. So back to our Skyzor.
I actually just like having art for all my stuff as well as like sort of a
right, because Bob's like, I don't want to actually have to envision it or imagine it. It'd be really nice.
I like that I can show me and my party what this thing
Right.
looks like.
So it's not just me that can't imagine anything. I'm also really bad at describing to my.
We just told you who my party was.
All right. So
now I can show them the Dragon Tooth Club.
All right. So if you strike with this weapon, or you have a person grabbed with this weapon, this crab claw effect, the target is grabbed until the end of your next turn. A grab creature can use their escape to get out of the grab, and the grab ends for a grab creature who moves away. This gives you the grab ability. This gives you plus grab.
You just gotta wear it.
and look like a buffoon. If you hit somebody,
Have the wolf one on the one arm and then the crab on the other.
I mean, this gives you plus grab. Your last action was either to strike somebody with the weapon, or you
That's
already
pretty good, then.
or you already have someone grab with the weapon, which means if they didn't escape and you go into your next turn, they're still grabbed until the end of your turn. So you just pop one action and they're grabbed. I think the only difference is I don't think this has interact, and I don't think plus grab has interact.
It's just an action.
Yeah, it's just an action.
Yeah.
Activate, interact again. Once a round, if you have a creature grab with a weapon, the claw animates and pinches, and it deals damage equal to the number of this weapon dice. You're like, haha, take 3 damage. Take 3 damage.
That part's kind of silly, but
I
mean the plus grab is always good.
I mean, it even says here, by the way, if there was any ambiguity here, this functions as the grab creature ability. So,
that's great.
Yes, I agree. Ex Oblivion, it gives you plus grab, and it gives you a bad constrict. He says constrict, but he meant constrict. I mean, yes, I guess if somebody has that weakness of slashing damage, you're going to really mess them up. So, what do we got left here, Bob? 2 pages? Yep.
2 pages.
All right,
One of them is like a page in one item.
All right, here we go. Vampire Fang Morningstar. Bob, you like the art on this. It's a +1 striking,
Yes.
wounding Morningstar, level 8. That feels right. It's studded with, because wounding is a level 8 rune alone. It is studded, or maybe it's a 7, I don't know. But it's studded with teeth pulled from a vampire, which requires an animate donor, given vampire's tendency to turn to dust when destroyed. Once per minute, so once a fight, your last action was to successfully strike with a weapon, and you're not in direct sunlight. You can heal for 10.
Good. So you use this with the moon blade thing. And then make sure you're in the moon. I think it's a pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean 10 damage, is.
I don't like that you have to be. Well, I mean it's flavorful. That's why you have to do it in the sun, or non-sun. But
yeah, I mean, 10 hit points isn't nothing, and you can only do it once a fight.
Yeah, I wish it was a little more often, but it's something.
I mean,
flavorful.
it's okay.
I like it.
I mean, it's okay.
Yep.
I feel like if this was.
So you horribly torture a vampire to craft it.
Yeah. I don't know what I want this to be.
Can I have your teeth?
I feel like I'd want this to be like 20. If this was 20, I'd be excited.
20 health? 20 health?
If this was 20, I'd be excited. I
mean, 20 health would be really nice.
Right. It would be like, oh, wow, this feels like a magical item that I'm excited to have. And it feels like it's going to be impactful as I'm a level 8 or 9, 10 character who's still wielding this weapon, right?
Fair.
All right. Vine Whip. This +1 striking whip is crafted from the vine of a dangerous plant creature.
That plant creature is Bulbasaur.
Okay.
He uses Vine Whip.
Bulbasaur. Collecting a vine from an assassin vine would result in a vine whip that deals bludgeoning damage. But if you got it from a vapor vine, it would deal piercing damage. What kind of vine did this come from? 3 actions. If I have soil or sand near me, I release the weapon, and it plants into the ground, and it takes root, and starts fighting the enemies on its own. Against the last enemies I attacked, or to the nearest enemy, if our target has already been defeated. It has a space of 5 feet. It does not block its square. It does not provide benefit or provide flanking, and it does not use reactions. It makes strikes with a static +22 to attack. That seems really high for level 8, is it? Level 8, you'd have 1 weapon, so 9, expert, 13, strength 4. Wow, +17. That seems insane. Oh, it's a. Wow, it seems really high.
It makes a strike with an attack modifier of +22.
It uses the weapon's normal damage, but so it's a whip. It's not really doing a whole lot of damage. That's why.
So it's just going to hit more often.
Yeah. Plus its item bonus to attack rolls. Normally +24 total, even though it says it's a +1 striking whip. So 22 + 1 is 23. So that doesn't add up right, but it's okay. George Washington already did the math on that one. Thank you, George. And it uses the weapon's normal damage, which again for a whip is like close to next to nothing. It's D4 damage with a 0 strength. The whip's ability that automatically trigger on a hit or critical hit still function, but the weapon can't be activated. So, it's a large bonus to attack, but each round when it is finished using its actions, make a DC 6 flat check. On a failure, so on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 25% of the time it ends. Yikes! And then you can't do it for 10 more minutes. And then
I don't like that part.
And then while it's rooted, the whip heals 1. All right, that's a very weird item.
It's weird.
I'm going to agree with chat here. It sounds like they reduced the level but forgot to edit it. It sounds like this should be a level or 10 or 12 item, because having a level 8 item with a base +22, clearly they thought this was a +2 item. At which point it probably would have been like a level 11 or 12 item.
That makes more sense.
And then that +22 makes a lot more sense. So this is busted if you care about what the whip does. But,
what does the whip do?
But if you don't, if you do, it's fine. But
wait till you read. I don't know if you want to read this whole next item.
This one, Kala Dama?
Yeah, so basically they're going to spark guns and star guns next.
Oh,
and this is a star gun. Level 20, and it's about 1 page long.
Yes. So here, Strat is right. A whip does critical knockdown. So, by the way, to put this into perspective, this thing is +23 attack bonus. If you are using this at level 8, the standard AC for a creature is going to be around the high AC for a creature is going to be 27. The moderate AC is going to be 26. This has a +23 to hit. So it's hitting on a 3.
That's a good crit chance.
It's hitting on a 3. It's critting on a 13. And the crit from a whip is it's a flail. So it knocks them prone. So as written, this is a very nice item, but obviously I think they need to errata this.
And I don't remember when they sent me this PDF. It could already be errated.
That's true. We did get this a while ago. All right. Spark guns and star guns. Oh, good old Arcadia. They love their guns, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Great warriors, shotguns from the heavens, weaponsmiths, star guns. All right, here we go. Kaladamash's Lament, level 20. Unique, arcane, evocation, one hand. Ultimate, resembling little more than a pipe with a handle.
It's basically, what's that firework that goes pew, pew, pew?
Roman candle.
Yeah, that's what this is.
It is one of the most well-known star guns in all of Arcadia. Crowned Regent Kaladamash helped forge the first star guns millennia ago. All right. Yada, 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 yada. It is
There's a lot of text.
All right. So, well, for start off right off the bat, it is a +3 major striking. So that is, 4 weapon dice of damage. Speed, that's permanent haste, but only used for striking. Advanced firearm. With a range increment of 90 feet, it deals 4d6 force damage. That major striking rune is already included in that, which is why it's doing 4. And it has the concealable, concussive, and fatal d10 traits. You don't take a penalty when dealing non-lethal weapon damage with this weapon. Like most star guns, it uses magic to function and therefore does not require ammunition or black powder. If you use it as part of a duel in which everybody is in agreement, its supernatural instincts make you the quicker draw. You roll twice and take the higher result on your initiative. This is a fortune effect. In addition, you can draw this as a free action at the start of your turns during a duel. If you attempt to fire the star gun in bad faith at a dueling opponent once they have surrendered or been defeated or the duel is over, it flies out of your hand and you can't pick it up for 10 minutes. Free action, trigger, you target a creature with an attack. Effect, you adjust the damage that Kaladamash's Lament deals before firing. It changes to either electricity, fire, or force. Well, that's hot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is level 20.
It is.
Whoa, man, we got more abilities, Bob.
I'm telling you.
2 actions, once a minute, we leave it to fire on its own. We let go of the gun, and it just starts flying through the air, shooting. We still get the benefits of the speed rune. It takes up 5 foot feet. It doesn't block impede enemies. It always remains within 30 feet of you. While it's moving independently, you can command it to strike against a creature as an action, which has a concentrate trait. It makes a ranged strike using your attack modifier while wielding it, or +31, whichever is higher. That's weird that it uses yours or its, whichever is higher. This increases our multiple attack penalties as normal. Boo. Come on, we're level 20 people. And the gun uses your multiple attack penalty to determine its attack bonus. By the way, because it's always moving, they're flat-footed to those shots. Go, gun. Shoot them. Lastly, 3 actions. You unleash a barrage of attacks in an instant. You deal strike damage to all creatures in a 30-foot cone, which is 4d6 damage, by the way. We're level 20. Things have 300-plus hit points. You're like, take 14 damage. No, not 14 damage. Okay, so that's horrible. That's a lot. If this was 1 action, Bob, I would still be disappointed.
When I read this much text, I pretty much give up.
I get it.
Also.
I mean, I get it. It has no limitation. I could do this every round.
Mm-hmm.
But come on. All right. Mind Lance, +1 striking arquebus. Oh my God, you're killing me. These guns. It's level 8.
It ends on guns for you.
Each Mind Lance also includes a reinforced stock. Okay. Whenever you critically succeed in an attack roll with Mind Lance, they become frightened 2, unless it succeeds at a DC 24 will save. So isn't that just a greater fear rune? But it's level 8. I guess that's what makes it good.
I mean, sure.
All right. Okay. That's about it. Could you not add other damaging runes? With specific items like this, the only runes that you can add to these are fundamental runes.
Yeah, I thought that's right.
You can't add property runes. You can only add fundamental runes. So basically, this is a +1 striking arquebus with the greater fear rune, as far as I can tell. All right. Except it also doesn't do anything. Anyways, okay. Solar Shellflower. This is a +1 striking flintlock musket. George Washington says the set that you only need one. Yes, anything you put on the gun also affects its stock, and the stock can be used as like a melee, to kind of like bash people with the handle of your shotgun. Yeah. Solar Shellflower. The +1 striking flintlock musket features multiple triangular panels that can be folded out of the stock like the petals of a Tigurdia flower. Galena in depth, do you know what a Tigurdia flower is? That collects sunlight and feed it into the spark gun's core. All of its damage is fire. All right, so we got a +1 striking flintlock musket, which would ordinarily be item 4, because that's a +1 striking weapon. But it all is fire damage, which could be bad or could be, a lot of things have weakness to fire. A lot of things are immune or have resistance to fire. But once a day, as one action, one of the panels detaches and unfurls into a construct of flame. For the next minute, whenever you strike an enemy with the Solar Shellflower gun, the construct fires a smaller jet of fire that hits automatically, dealing 3d4 additional persistent fire damage, or twice that on a critical hit. The Solar Shellflower usually needs a full day to replenish enough solar energy to recharge its activation. But if used in an environment with strong sunlight, such as a desert, it recharges in an hour. So wait, you spend one action, and then for the next minute, whenever you strike an enemy, they take 3d4 persistent fire damage?
Additional.
Wow, that is busted.
Yeah, it's pretty good. For the next minute, whenever you strike... Well, it's only once per day.
Sure, but it says, that's still really powerful, Bob. And you get, by the way, it's for the next minute.
I guess it's once per day unless you're in the summer solstice area.
Yeah, well, no, it's just near summer solstice, cliff above the clouds, strong being in the desert. But even then, Bob, once you use this, it's a buff that lasts for the next minute. And
for the whole fight.
Yeah, and then whenever you strike an enemy, if you hit them at all, the construct fires a jet of fire with apparently infinite range, hits them automatically, deals 3d4 persistent fire damage, or if you crit, double that, so 6d4 persistent fire damage at level 5.
Yeah, I like the level here. This thing's really strong. I think it's great.
Brutus says this is almost better than the level 20 weapon, and I can't disagree.
Well, ain't that the truth?
That's totally great. Turgaman agrees.
Everyone agrees.
That's crazy. That's cool. Like this kind of like solar light beam. I don't know. That's pretty cool. All right.
Yeah.
Spark Dancer. This is a +2 greater striking pepper box. It cycles through several magical cores. Man, there's something about Pathfinder 2, man. They just love their sort of magic steampunk, I like
steampunk.
Pop in a new magical core. I don't know. Anyways. Meanwhile, also Realm of the Mammoth Lords. Swapping.
That's up north.
It's next to a room
east,
ahead. Right, it's
just east of the dinosaurs.
Just east,
lasers.
Just east of the androids and aliens. All right. I don't disagree with X here. This lineup somehow fuses the worst of too high of fantasy and wacky steampunk stuff. All right. We got a gun. We can swap magical cores to deal fire or electricity, which alternate with each attack. Great, because we want it to be random. Hey, that was really effective. Can't do it. Next round's fire. Arcade. Hey, we have this.
It's not random. It just alternates.
Hey, we need to put this fluff text in here. Arcadian gunslingers liken the rotating cores to a group of dancers, each taking their turn in the spotlight. All right. Once a day, you can cast Fireball or Lightning Bolt. At least you cast it as a level 7 spell. which is
Yeah, I did like that it upped it.
which is the appropriate.
Well, I guess it's level 13 item. But
yeah, which is the
it's
it's the appropriate level for that. So
is it the appropriate DC? I assume it is. But
yeah, I assume I would have to check it up, but I mean that sounds right. So basically, it is a gun that cycles through fire and electricity, and you don't control it. And because a pepper box, right, is like 2 barrels, right? You swap them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then you can either cast fireball, lightning bolt, which also you don't get to pick. It depends on whatever your core is set to. All right. Thunder Crasher.
The last item.
While looking, and of course, you know, they've got to describe, they've always got to describe these steampunk magical cores. They're like, while looking straight down the barrel, which a gunslinger would know never to do, of this +1 striking blunderbuss, the Sparks gun's magical core is visible among several reflectors. All damage. Oh, this is live nuclear weapon reaction. All damage done by a Thunder Crasher is sonic. Interesting. Not many things in the game have resistance to sonic. On a critical hit, they must make a fort save against our class DC. Coming out of nowhere. Like, why do some things use class DC? And then some things use a static DC. And then some things have a good static DC. And some things have a terrible static DC. Where does that... What is the rationale behind that? Why does the Thunder Crasher use your class DC, which, by the way, is just a much better way to do any of this, and then Spark Dancer uses DC 30? Why? And then they're deafened, which doesn't matter that much, but at least it's something. And then one action, once an hour, we overload the Thunder Crasher to emit chaotic sonic frequencies that soften the earth and stone. I did not see that coming. When you next fire the Thunder Crasher, it also partially liquefies any natural earth stone surfaces within the range of its scatter trait, making that area difficult terrain.
Huh. Okay.
All right. So, cast Rock to Mud. Exactly. Thunder Crasher. Oh. Like 99% of items should be class DCs instead of the other way around. Cedric, very smart person. That is correct. I don't see why we don't just... the game gave us this beautiful tool in class DC. Why don't we use it for these items? And I don't know. Why don't we have things scale with our players? Remember, we saw that item that
scaling with the players to me is would be really nice.
Right? Here's why they're concerned about scaling with the players. Because you bought the item for cheap. And if you were to be level 15 and you were to buy a level 5 item, and now suddenly it is performing at the power of a level 15 item because it automatically scaled and the DC automatically went up, you just got an incredible deal on your item. And that is
Can't
why...
you, like, make you
I don't
have
know.
to go like to the crafting shop with some gold?
I mean...
to upgrade it.
Well, but they didn't do that, you know?
Okay, well, regardless.
And then the alternative is we get... or we get the items that have like 5 copies of the same item, right? Where you get like the lesser version, the minor version, the standard version, the greater version, the greatest version, and it's just the same item. Well, right, but that's just now it's basically saying like you have to just keep getting a new item so that the DC raises, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. But that is
that it?
Armors and Armaments. Yeah, that's it.
That's
the Treasure Vault preview.
Hey, we got a tip.
Not all the outsourced authors know class DCs exist.
Kragan says, my bet is not all of the outsourced authors even know that the class DCs exist.
That could be true.
Yeah, and so, by the way, the next section is Alchemy Unleashed, which I believe No Nat Ones did on a live stream, I think last week. So if you want to see alchemy items, go check out No Nat Ones. Not that you probably haven't already, because he's got like 17 times as many people sub to him as we do. But yeah, again, this isn't a review. Part of our agreement with Paizo is we'll go over it, we'll preview it, we'll share it with you all. But I haven't read the book comprehensively yet, so I'm not in a position to really offer an advice on it. I will say, there are some items in here that I think we can all agree are pretty exciting and have a lot of interesting things to them. I myself am kind of interested in exploring some of these ideas. And again, we have a very large, comprehensive book here that really goes out and, kind of focuses on the some of the items that maybe have been sort of underutilized in the game. Did I lose Bob?
No, I just muted myself for a second because I was typing, and my
okay.
typing's really loud.
And, we've got things, like I said, there's pretty much more of everything, right? We're going to get more catalysts, more fulus, more oils, potions, talismans, which I think is a sadly underutilized thing in the game. More grimoires, spell hearts, tattoos. I know people have been asking about magical tattoos. This is 6 pages of tattoos. So, is it a perfect fix to everything? No, but I think that the game after 3 years really needed this book. Bob, do we have a release date for this, or?
I thought it was like the 13th or something like that.
That sounds about right. And so
I have
this
to check my emails, but
looks like it's February 23rd, or sorry, February 22nd is when this book comes out.
I think that was like the original release date, but they moved it.
Got it. And then there's also some stuff here in the back. We've got artifacts, boons, relics, cursed items, and then some variant ideas for crafting, which again, I'm not going to get into because somebody else might cover them. But and then there's some index and tables. So, I think overall, we're looking at a much needed book. And, I know that I was kind of down on Grand Bazaar. I think, Bob, you were down on Grand Bazaar as well. Because I wanted Grand Bazaar to be this book. And it wasn't. It was a Lost Omens book. But we get treasure tables. We get new items. We get new runes. We fill in the slots.
Yeah.
And
I just want to be able to have stuff that I can throw at my party when they find a chest or a monster drops something cool that's flavorful for what the adventure is and something they can earn and I just feel like, again, there's a lot of stuff in Paizo's and Pathfinder and you can get stuff, but give me more. I like more treasure.
Yeah.
More stuff.
Yeah. So again, my advice, if you're interested in, of course, it's Paizo. Listen, all this stuff's going to be on Nethys. So, but me.
The pictures will be there too.
You know me.
The pictures.
Why does this person keep saying Earthshaker? Bron.
I tried to look for it and I could not find it. So I tried to search, but searching one of these PDFs is also really hard.
All right. Well, I just searched the entire PDF and it did not come out.
Yeah, I didn't see it, so I don't know where it is. If it is something.
Oh, Earthbreaker.
Oh, Earthbreaker is a weapon, I thought.
All right, Earthbreaker. It is a one-handed hammer that does D6 bludgeoning damage. It has the raising trait, which means it does bonus damage to objects. It does 1d6 bludgeoning. It has the shove trait. It is the hammer group. It can be versatile to piercing, and you can hold it for d10. That is the Earthbreaker. This person is insisting Earthshaker is a weapon.
Earthshaker? I don't know where it's at. Because I tried to look for the whole document, too, and nothing came up.
Yeah, nothing is coming up for Earthshaker as we do a search for it.
Yes.
Breaker. Oh, he's saying breaker. Yeah, we just did it. That's the Earthbreaker.
Interesting.
All right.
All right.
So, anyways, that is Treasure Vault, and we look forward.
Quick 2-hour stream.
Yeah, quick 2-hour stream that took 3.5 hours. But it's nice to less call. It's what we do around here. Hey, I just want to say really quick, thank you so much to everybody who came out and supported us tonight. If you're new here and you like this stuff, come check out all of our other stuff. We're live every Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we have a big backlog of a lot of live stream content, and we also have stuff from our recorded video content. So make sure to check out both things on our channel because we do a lot of live streams. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/nightsoflastcall, where you can come hang out with all these fine, amazing folks, many of whom were in the chat tonight. We talk about Pathfinder 2, but we really focus on tabletop role-playing games as a hobby, as a philosophy, as a way of life. We like to mix and match ideas from a lot of different RPGs, and we like to understand what RPGs are about. You'll see that we have videos about that. And really, it's the Patreon that supports this channel. I don't get a lot of views like some of the bigger TTRPG content creators out there. And so I rely on incredible support from my patrons to even make this something worth doing. And I'm not a one-man operation. I've got several people who work for me, and I try to pay them. So all the support that you guys give us is incredible, and it's very, very much appreciated. We are doing a Super Secret Sunday system stream on Sunday. We normally do 2 streams a week, but sometimes we do a 3rd stream, and we're going to be covering Against the Dark Master Part 2. The tipping was so well on Tuesday that we didn't finish the book. It was a first look. Brand new RPG. I'd never looked through it. So it's me giving my feedback as I go through the rules. We got about halfway through it, but people tipped so well, we're going to do the second half of it on Sunday. And then into next week, we're probably going to get back to our archetype ranking videos, and maybe who knows what we're going to talk about. So, the patrons get to weigh in and decide on that. So if you want to be part of our community, we'd love to have you. Come check us out. And otherwise, subscribe. Remember to ring the bell so you get a notification whenever we're about to go live. Bob, Legend of the Five Rings tomorrow, session 0.
Yep, session 0 back in L5R, which is a non-D20 tabletop role-playing game. It's more theater of the mind.
Yep,
which is great, and has a unique dice set, and it's. I'm pretty excited. I didn't really get to play in it last time, so we were playing I was playing too many D20 games at the time, and so now I try something a little non-D20.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it, and thank you to Paizo, thank you to Mr. Shanks for reaching out and working with us and giving us this awesome preview copy. We appreciate it, and hopefully we can bring some more cool, fun stuff to you guys in the future. Other than that, stay good, stay safe out there, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your tabletop role-playing game. Keep your head above the chaos and the fuss of all this drama nonsense. Just keep playing the games that you love with the people that you love to play them with, and we'll see you next time on Knights of Last Call. Peace out.